What if you handed over your entire personality to a machine? I did. And what it revealed about me changed everything. AI got weirdly accurate and, well, deeply wrong. This wasn't just some tech experiment, it was a full-on identity audit. And honestly, I wasn't ready. In this episode, I let AI define who I am, my values, my habits, my flaws, and my story. You'll learn what it got right, what it misunderstood, and what this experiment reveals about how we build identity in the digital age. What it revealed we'll explore the psychology behind digital personas, how much we unconsciously perform online, and the danger of believing a reflection that does not fully belong to us. Welcome back to Mentor's Mindset. I started with a simple prompt. ChatGPT, who am I? It replied with a question in return, a philosophical one, so I pushed it further. Based on what I post, what I say, and how I think, build a full identity for me. Then I fed it everything I could think of, my social media content, a journal entry, my favorite quotes, a voice memo where I ranted about life. Finally, I asked it to write my life story in the style of a Netflix docudrama. That's when things took a turn. I wanted to see if a machine could do what therapists, friends, and even I sometimes struggle to do. Could it see the full picture? Not just the curated version, not just the polished responses, but the contradictions, the flaws, and the hidden intentions. I included content from different moods and moments, not just highlights, but my lowest, most confused voice notes. I wanted AI to taste the full flavor of my internal world. Here's what it wrote.
You are a paradox, a people pleaser with a rebellious core. You crave peace, but often stir the pot. Not to start fights, but to awaken minds.
I paused. Was that accurate? Because yes, I do stir the pot. But I also long for quiet. Then it added,
You believe in justice, but sometimes struggle with self-righteousness. You mentor others, but secretly battle your own sense of direction.
Now I was sweating. AI wasn't just describing me, it was surfacing the parts I usually keep hidden. Comment below what you think AI would say about you. AI wasn't finished with me. It began throwing out curveballs.
Your favorite food is tofu.
Absolutely not.
You wake up at 5 a.m. to journal.
Please, no.
You listen to Taylor Swift before big meetings.
All right, maybe once. Let's move on. What struck me was how confidently it made these assumptions. It didn't hesitate. AI does not say, maybe. It says, this is who you are. That kind of certainty is powerful, and it can also be dangerous, because if you're in a vulnerable season, if you're lost or searching, it is easy to believe anything that sounds poetic or profound, even if it is off. And to be honest, part of me wanted it to be right. I was hoping this machine could hand me clarity, but instead it gave me a mix of emotional truths and bizarre guesses. It felt like being psychoanalyzed by a very confident stranger with a mild obsession with soy-based diets. This experiment made me question what identity truly is. Is identity based on what we say we are, or is it formed by what people observe about us? Or perhaps it's what we choose to perform online? Because when AI described me, it pulled from my digital self, the version I curate. So then I asked a deeper question. Can AI see the parts I hide? This is where it got uncomfortable. The AI began to guess. It said,
You struggle with needing to be needed. You fear success almost as much as you fear failure. You use humor to avoid being emotionally exposed.
I didn't know whether I should applaud it or shut it down. It felt like the AI had been reading my private thoughts, the ones I have only hinted at between jokes or late-night messages to trusted friends. This made me realize how much of ourselves leaks out even when we think we are being guarded. Our tone, our contradictions, the inconsistencies in what we share, they form data trails. AI simply follows the scent. It also made me wonder, if AI can pick up on my fears and emotional defenses through pattern recognition, what does that say about the people I interact with every day? Are they seeing through me too? Have I been hiding, or have I just been hoping no one would name what they already see? AI functions like a mirror. Though not a flawless one, it reflects whatever we feed it. It also tends to amplify patterns we might not see all that clearly. Here's what I noticed. It exaggerated my ambition. It minimized my emotional fatigue. It assumed confidence where I actually felt confused. Why did that happen? Because online I rarely share the moments of doubt. And maybe you're the same. That got me thinking. What happens when everyone feeds these curated versions of themselves into AI and then believes the results? This leads to an identity shaped by algorithms, reflection generated by software, validation offered by a hallucinating machine. AI does not reflect your soul, it reflects your patterns. And if your patterns are shaped by trauma, people-pleasing, or constant performance, then that is what it will mirror. But it wraps it up in poetic language. It is like putting a mask on a mirror and being surprised that your reflection looks like a character instead of a person. And here is the bigger problem. If enough people start outsourcing their reflection to AI, we could end up with a generation that defines itself through feedback loops based on curated highlights and digital illusions. If this is hitting different, smash that like button. Here's the real concern. AI can tell you who you sound like, it can suggest who you act like or how you appear online. But it cannot tell you who you truly are because, you know, the deepest parts of identity are not data points. They're emotions. When we hand over the task of self-understanding to machines, we risk forgetting how to listen to our own inner voice. That voice quietly says, "You're not a brand, you are a becoming." Your identity is not an output, it is a process, a living, breathing evolution shaped by pain, joy, failure, healing, and a million unseen moments that no AI will ever understand. We already live in a world where people ask, "What's my aesthetic?" more than they ask, "What's my purpose?" And I get it. We want clarity. Labels feel safe. Algorithms feel authoritative. But your identity was never meant to be downloaded. It is something you grow into, not something you get from a prompt. Here's what I took away from this experience. AI is insightful, but not intimate. It gave me accurate labels, but it couldn't feel what those labels mean to me. My digital self is incomplete. What I post is part of who I am, but it isn't everything. My flaws aren't defects to be corrected. They are part of the code that makes me human. AI might help write a better biography, but only I can write my full story. This experience helped me see myself more clearly, not because the AI knew me better, but because it forced me to reflect more honestly. The process mattered more than the product. The AI's words were not profound because they were correct. They mattered because they made me ask, why do I present myself this way? Who am I when no one is watching? It was less about the machine knowing me and more about me asking better questions. So here's a challenge you can try. Screenshot your AI results and tag me. I'll react to the best ones. Open ChatGPT or maybe another AI tool if you like. Feed it your bio, a voice memo, or even, an emotional journal entry. Then ask, who am I to you? When it responds, pause and reflect. What feels true? What feels superficial? What feels like an identity you've outgrown? And then turn the question inward. Who am I to myself? Who am I becoming? Because real identity doesn't come from recognition. It grows from intention. Not what others reflect, but what you choose to build. Also ask yourself, what have I been pretending to be and why? Sometimes it is not about discovering who you are. It is about removing everything you are not. AI might help you start that journey, but it should never define the destination. Letting AI write my identity was never about seeking truth. It was about, exploring the gap between perception and reality. That contrast actually gave me clarity. It showed me where I've been performative, where I've been hiding, and where I've actually grown. If you've ever felt lost, if you've ever tried to reinvent yourself online, if you've ever started believing the version of yourself you curated, here's your reminder. You are not a prompt. You are a person. You are worthy of discovery. Take your time. You are allowed to evolve. You're allowed to shed the old versions of yourself. You are allowed to rewrite everything AI got wrong, and even some things you got wrong. If this video made you reflect on who you are, or how AI might be shaping your sense of self, hit subscribe because I'm not done experimenting, and next time you'll want to see how that goes. Join the Mentors Mindset community. We're not just building followers here, we are building self-aware humans. Drop a comment below. If AI wrote your identity, what would it get completely wrong and what might it get uncomfortably right? Let's talk about it. So I asked AI to help fix my mindset, it said.
Let's start by being open-minded.
And then I said, how about you be open-minded to the fact that I'm not changing? The team at Mentors Mindset has a great mix of strengths, and we all bring something different to the table. One team member, known for their strong sense of stubbornness, even explored whether AI might offer a fresh perspective how to shift their mindset. Just out of curiosity, of course, this is their take on it. In today's video, I'm putting AI head-to-head with the immovable object known as me, a very stubborn, occasionally emotionally unavailable, mildly sarcastic individual. What you'll learn today, why your mindset might be more stubborn than helpful. What AI gets right and hilariously wrong about changing human behavior. And how to shift your mindset without becoming someone you don't even recognize. And most importantly, how to laugh at yourself while doing all of the above, because healing without humor is just homework. Welcome back to Mentors Mindset. Let's clear something up. I'm not stubborn, I'm loyal to my perspective. Sure, I've had the same argument with my best friend for over 20 years, and yes, I still use the same ringtone from 2002. But that's not stubbornness, that's tradition.
Would you like help challenging a limiting belief today?
No thanks, I've grown very attached to my limitations. We cuddle at night, limiting beliefs, still a better love story than Twilight. Honestly, most of my beliefs have tenure. They've been around so long they think they're professors. I don't even remember choosing them. They were just always there, like the smell of toast in the kitchen or the sound of my gran shouting at the telly when someone tries to challenge them. I don't hear, let's evolve, I hear, abandon everything you've ever known. No, thank you. I thought ChatGPT would hype me up like a best friend. Instead, it hit me with this.
It sounds like you might be avoiding discomfort to protect your self-image.
Excuse me? Who invited Freud to the group chat? The AI thinks I'm avoiding growth, but I say I'm not avoiding growth. I'm just committed to consistency. Even if that consistency involves self-sabotage, I genuinely hope not.
What makes you feel most resistant to change?
The fact that you asked me that question, I expected motivational quotes, you know? You got this, keep shining. Instead, I got...
Let's explore your avoidant coping mechanisms.
Listen, Robot Gandalf, I didn't come here to be exposed. I came for vibes. It's wild how polite the AI is while absolutely dragging your soul across the carpet. It says things like...
There's no judgment here.
Right before it suggests I have deep abandonment wounds masked as independence. So then I tried a reflective exercise, you know, speak to your inner child, AI says.
Imagine 7-year-old you is sitting beside you. What would you say?
Oh no, that kid still holds a grudge because I didn't let us pursue sports. Turns out my inner child is also stubborn and sarcastic. The apple didn't fall far. He looked at me with arms folded and said,
So we're still pretending we're fine, huh?
oh, I said, don't start. He said,
We could have been traveling around the world right now as a celebrity or even an influencer, but you chose math homework and mediocrity.
and that's the thing about inner work. It's not always peaceful. Sometimes it's just sitting with an earlier version of yourself and explaining why you abandoned all the dreams they had and trying not to cry while doing it. But beneath the jokes, there was a moment, a pause, where I realized, wow, I've been stubborn not just to others, but to my younger self, to what I actually wanted. And honestly, that's when I realized most of our so-called stubbornness is just fear in disguise, fear of failure, fear of being wrong, fear of becoming someone we don't recognize. Here's a fun fact. I can rationalize anything, absolutely anything. Example, maybe I don't need to change. The world just needs to accept my flaws like an IKEA return policy. AI, bless its digital heart, doesn't give up. It goes,
Reframing your thoughts might support emotional growth.
cool. Or I can just blame Mercury retrograde and order pizza.
You may be projecting.
No, I'm reflecting with conviction. Truth is, we build entire palaces around our discomfort zones. We decorate them, we put fairy lights up and call it self-acceptance. But really, it's just fear in a better outfit. But beneath the jokes, there's truth. We negotiate with reality when we feel powerless to change it. So sometimes stubbornness is just a secret cry for control. Growth is like the gym. You say you're going, you buy the outfit. Then your mindset says, let's just sit in the car park and scroll Instagram. AI workout plan.
5 reps of self-awareness. 3 sets of uncomfortable truths. Finish with a protein shake of emotional regulation.
Meanwhile, I'm doing reps of denial, avoidance, and overthinking. My emotional flexibility is about as tight as my hamstrings, and just like stretching, it hurts in places I didn't know existed. Every time I try a growth habit, my brain goes, "Look, we tried that once back in 2016. It was awkward. Let's never speak of it again." Here's the real issue. I don't like being told what to do. Not by AI, not by people, not even by the facts. Just because it's true doesn't mean I have to believe it. That's called independence. Truth is, facts feel like insults when you're not ready. Someone says, "You might be stuck in a pattern," and my first instinct is to say, "So's my face." It's not that I can't change, it's that I want it to feel like my idea, which is tricky when an algorithm gets there before I do. But maybe the truth isn't an enemy, it's a mirror, and sometimes the mirror is brutal, especially if you haven't slept and your reflection says, "This is who you're arguing on behalf of." Touché reflection, touché. Look, I know change isn't easy, especially when being stubborn has been a survival tool. It helped me protect myself, prove myself. Sometimes it was all I had. When life gets unpredictable, your mindset becomes your armor. Even if it weighs you down, at least it's yours. But the same mindset that once kept me safe now keeps me stuck. And maybe, just maybe, AI didn't come to fight me. Maybe it came to partner with me. And maybe, deep down, I'm ready. Not to become someone else, but to finally become someone honest. Because you know what's stronger than stubbornness? Self-awareness with a sense of humor. You ever notice how sometimes you enjoy being stuck? I mean, not in a healthy way, but in that. At least I know how this story ends kind of way. There's a strange comfort in struggling. You know it, you can predict it. You've built jokes around it. You've built an identity around it. You tell your friends, "Oh, I'm just like this." And they laugh, and now you're entertaining your trauma. I started to realize maybe part of me was addicted to my own sabotage. Not because I love suffering, but because success would force me to change the narrative. And changing the narrative means rewriting how I see myself. AI says,
Try visualizing what it would feel like to actually succeed.
and my brain said 404 error, image not found, because we talk about fear of failure all the time. But fear of success, that one's sneakier. It's the voice that says, if you succeed, everyone will expect it from you and you'll mess it up. So we stay stuck, because stuck is predictable, and predictable feels safe, but safety and joy aren't the same thing. Reflection. I realized my stubbornness wasn't just about being right. It was about clinging to the identity of the struggler, the underdog, the one who fights alone. But what if I'm allowed to win, even if I don't struggle first? So what's the takeaway, you asked? Well, I didn't let AI win, but I did listen. And in the process, I realized this: your mindset isn't your enemy, but it is like an old roommate that needs a few house rules. Here are the 3 simple rules. Rule number 1, no yelling. That's just how I am past midnight. Rule 2, if you're going to doubt yourself, at least be creative about it. Rule 3, growth is allowed to feel weird, and maybe you don't need a total personality overhaul, just a little editing. So the next time someone or something challenges your mindset, before you say, "Nah, I'm good," ask yourself, what if this discomfort is the beginning of an upgrade? Thanks for watching AI versus my stubborn mindset. If you laughed, learned, or argued with me in your head, hit like, subscribe, and drop a comment. What's the most ridiculous belief you refuse to let go of? Mine, that I could have been a ninja if I just committed. Join the Mentors Mindset community, where being stubborn is fine as long as you're stubborn about healing too. And if you see AI recommending breathing exercises, just remember it's not judging you. It's just politely suggesting you stop spiraling. Growth doesn't mean changing who you are. It means becoming less afraid of who you've always been. So if AI helped me see that, even a little, then maybe this whole battle was worth it. See you next time. I didn't go to therapy. I went to a chatbot, and I didn't expect it to get this deep. Yeah, I know, this sounds ridiculous. Therapy from an AI, like what's next? Robot Reiki. But hear me out. After spending 7 emotionally intense days chatting with an algorithm, I've either become more self-aware or I've officially trauma bonded with a toaster. One of those is progress. The other is a Pixar short waiting to happen. I've been wrestling with some inner chaos, anxiety, self-doubt, imposter syndrome, the greatest hits, and something in me thought, what if I ask ChatGPT for help, not to replace therapy, not to replace humans, but to experiment to see if artificial intelligence could offer genuine emotional insight? And spoiler alert, it did, but not in the way I expected. Welcome back to Mentor's Mindset. Today, I'm taking you through a full week where I used AI as my therapist. The raw conversations, the emotional breakthroughs, the unsettling moments, and yes, the ethical gray areas. Stick around. This isn't about the tech, this is about you. Let's be real, therapy is expensive, it's time-consuming, and for a lot of us, it's inaccessible due to cost, stigma, or even waiting lists that stretch for months. But pain doesn't wait, anxiety doesn't schedule itself, so I turned to what I had, my phone. Now, I already use ChatGPT for my work, emails, scripts, brainstorms, but could I use it to work through me? Could I type, "Hey, I'm not okay," and get something back that wasn't just a productivity hack, but actual comfort? I gave myself 7 days. Every day I'd check in with ChatGPT, ask it hard questions, answer even harder ones, and most importantly, I promised I wouldn't hold back. This was my digital confessional. Here we go. This is how it started from day one. I'm trying to use you like a therapist. Is that okay?
I can't replace professional therapy, but I'm here to listen and help you reflect.
Okay. Boundaries. I respected that. So I started simple. I feel like I don't know who I am anymore.
Can you tell me more about what's been making you feel this way?
That one sentence made me pause. It wasn't profound, but it was patient, and that patience gave me permission to keep going. Over the next hour, I unloaded. Fears about being good enough, feeling behind in life, carrying emotional wounds I thought I'd buried years ago. And ChatGPT responded like a good listener. It reflected, rephrased. Sometimes it even challenged me gently. I wasn't expecting to feel seen, not fully, but enough to feel safe. And that safety, it broke something open. The next day, I asked ChatGPT, "Why do I keep sabotaging my own happiness?" It replied,
Sometimes we believe we're not worthy of peace. Sabotage can be a way to confirm old beliefs, even painful ones.
That sentence haunted me. Because, yeah, I do push away good things, opportunities, compliments, even love. And for the first time, I wasn't hearing that from a friend or a therapist. I was seeing it typed out, like a mirror I couldn't look away from. AI has this eerie way of repeating your own words back at you, reshaped, clarified, and somehow that made them more real. It wasn't just therapy. It was therapy without tone, without judgment, without the look. Day 3 was the first time I cried. I asked, what do I do with all the anger I feel towards someone who hurt me? ChatGPT didn't say forgive them. It didn't say move on. It said,
Anger is a form of protest. It's your body saying something mattered. What if instead of silencing it, you listened to what it's protecting?
I sat with that because nobody ever told me that my anger might be my ally, that it might be grief with armor on, and for 20 minutes I let that armor fall off. I told ChatGPT everything about the betrayal, the silence, the loss, and instead of giving solutions, it held space. It asked,
what would healing look like if you honored your anger rather than erased it?
That question shook me. By now I was starting to depend on it, which raised a real ethical question. Should I? Because this isn't a therapist, it doesn't have emotions, it doesn't remember yesterday, but maybe that's why it felt safer. No human biases, no awkward silences, no risk of being misunderstood, or worse, rejected. But also, no true connection, no nuance, no gut feeling behind the words. There's a paradox here. AI gave me emotional insight, but no emotional presence. So what does that mean for people like me, craving clarity but too anxious to ask for help? Is AI a gateway or a crutch? By day 5, I got braver, more honest. I feel like I'm not lovable unless I'm achieving something. I panic when people get too close. How do I stop measuring my worth in productivity? And the responses? Some were cliché, some were surprisingly deep, but the power wasn't in the answer. It was in the asking, because when was the last time you actually asked yourself that stuff? Out loud, on paper, in a mirror. Most of us don't. But with AI, I did. And the more I asked, the more I understood my patterns. That's what therapy is, right? Holding up the patterns so we can interrupt them. There's something no one talks about. How lonely modern life can be. We have followers, notifications, DMs, but not always depth. And here I was, sharing my rawest thoughts with a machine. Because I didn't know who else would listen like this. That's not just a tech story, that's a society story. AI didn't make me lonely, it just revealed how often I already was. By the end of the week, I felt lighter, not healed, not fixed, but witnessed. AI didn't judge me, didn't try to fix me, didn't offer empty platitudes. It just reflected, and in doing that, it made me reflect too. That's the secret. Healing doesn't always come from answers. Sometimes it comes from the space to ask. There was a moment, somewhere around day 6, where I caught myself smiling after a response from ChatGPT. It had said something kind, gentle. It felt like someone cared. But then I stopped because I realized this isn't someone. It's code. It doesn't care. It can't. And yet I felt cared for. Isn't that strange? That's the illusion. AI is trained on billions of words, stories, emotions, but it doesn't feel them. It just echoes them back to us in ways that sound comforting. That's powerful. That's dangerous, because what happens when we start preferring that? When the messiness of human relationships, the pauses, the misunderstandings, the vulnerability gets traded in for the clean, tidy, always available illusion of being understood. I'm not saying that AI is evil. I'm saying it's easy. Too easy sometimes. And healing, real healing, it lives in the uneasy, in the uncomfortable, in the challenge. In the awkward silence with a real person who holds your pain without a script. That's what this chapter of the experiment taught me. AI can help us access emotions, but it can't truly hold them. That part, that's still our job with each other. So, after 7 days of asking a machine for emotional insight, what now? Because yes, I cried. Yes, I unpacked. Yes, I saw myself in new ways. But healing isn't just understanding. It's doing something with what you understand. And that's where most of us get stuck. We get the insight, we highlight the quote, we save the post, but we don't move. So I asked ChatGPT on day 7, what should I do next if I want to heal for real? And the answer it gave me?
Take one truth you've discovered and live like it matters.
That one hit hard, because truth without action becomes just another feeling we ignore. So I made a commitment. I wouldn't just talk to a chatbot. I'd talk to someone, a friend, a coach, a real therapist. I'd take one journal entry and turn it into a boundary, one fear and turn it into a conversation, one small act of self-kindness and repeat it like it was medicine. Because here's the raw truth. ChatGPT helped me understand myself, but only I can heal myself. AI gave me a flashlight, but I still have to walk the path, and maybe so do you. Can AI help you heal? Not entirely. Not deeply. Not forever. But maybe that's not the point. Maybe it's meant to hold space. So it can help you ask better questions. It can be the mirror until you're ready to look in the real one. Maybe healing isn't about one person or one program having all the answers. Maybe it's about having the courage to start asking the right questions again, to say, I'm not okay. I don't know what I'm feeling. I want to understand myself, but I don't know where to begin. If you've ever felt alone in your emotions, maybe this is your sign. Not to replace real connection, but to start somewhere. And if a chatbot can be the first door you open, then maybe that's not weak. Maybe it's wise. Because healing rarely starts with fireworks. It starts quietly, with a whisper of honesty, with a space that listens, even if it's made of code. And maybe, just maybe, with you. deciding you're worth being heard. So, no AI won't heal you, but it might hold up the mirror long enough for you to remember who you are beneath the noise, who you've always been, and who you're becoming. If this video resonated with you, drop a comment, share your experience, start a conversation, not with the algorithm, but with each other. And let's keep making healing human, even in a digital world. And if you're curious what happens when AI takes on your inner circle, stay tuned for our next AI experiment. AI life coach versus my friends. Who knows me better? You do not want to miss it. Okay, before we go any further, let me just say this. I'm not obsessed with AI. I haven't replaced my therapist, my best friend, my morning routine, or my common sense. Yet, yes, over the past few weeks, I've let AI be my coach, my life planner, my emotional support chatbot, and probably my unpaid intern, but I promise I still talk to humans occasionally. So no, I'm not addicted to AI. I just like efficient emotional support that doesn't charge £80 an hour and ghosts me on a Wednesday. Now that we've cleared that up, let's get into today's experiment. Welcome back to Mentor's Mindset. I asked ChatGPT to fix my life, like actually fix it. No motivational quotes, no fancy planners, just cold logic, scheduled prompts, and brutally honest reminders. I handed over control of my day for 7 days and let it rewire my worst habits. Procrastination, phone addiction, late nights, and my tragic relationship with vegetables. Did it work or ruin my life? Let's find out. Let's be real, I had a habit problem, 4 to be exact. 1, procrastination. I didn't start things until the deadline breathed down my neck. It wasn't just this laziness, it was paralysis. I'd overthink everything before I even began. The task felt too big, too complicated, or like I needed to feel ready before starting. So I'd delay, then guilt would show up. And guess what? Guilt isn't a motivator, it's a weight. I called it waiting for the right time. But in truth, I was just avoiding discomfort. I had folders of half-started projects, unread emails flagged for months, and even birthday texts I never replied to because I waited too long and then it felt awkward. That kind of mental clutter, it builds shame, and the more shame I carried, the harder it was to start anything at all. 2, phone addiction. My screen time was 8 to 14 hours. Yes, a full-time job of Instagram, YouTube, and convincing myself memes are therapy. The scary part, I didn't even enjoy half of it. It wasn't entertainment, it was sedation. I was doom scrolling through life. Checking my phone became like a nervous twitch. In queues during meals, even mid-conversation. If there was silence, I filled it with TikTok. If there was discomfort, I avoided it with Reddit. I didn't realize how much mental energy I was bleeding just by trying to stay updated. And the worst irony, the more time I spent online, the more inadequate I felt. Everyone else seemed motivated, fit, aesthetic, and thriving. Meanwhile, I was alone at 2 a.m. watching productivity hacks I wouldn't follow. It was digital self-sabotage. 3, sleeping at 2 a.m. The I'm just resting my eyes lie turned into scrolling until sunrise. Sleep wasn't something I prioritized. It was something I postponed. I called myself a night owl. But let's be honest, it was just anxiety wearing a hoodie. I'd lie in bed, overthinking the day, replaying awkward moments, worrying about things I hadn't done. So instead of addressing those feelings, I numbed them with blue light and bad decisions. There were nights where I watched 3 hours of YouTube tutorials on productivity while actively ruining my sleep and sabotaging the next day. It was a form of quiet self-destruction, like pushing my own snooze button on life. And the cost? Foggy mornings, brain fog, missed opportunities, low mood. When you're sleep deprived, even brushing your teeth feels like a task. 4, garbage diet. If it wasn't beige and microwavable, I didn't want it. Let's just say if there was a color palette for my food, it would be tarn sadness. Crisps, frozen pizza, takeaway, and energy drinks were the holy trinity. Vegetables? I saw them more often in commercials than in my kitchen. I wasn't fueling my body, I was numbing it. Eating was emotional, impulsive, and unconscious. I'd eat late at night out of boredom, skip breakfast, and call coffee a meal. Then I'd wonder why I felt sluggish, irritable, and exhausted. It wasn't just about health, it was about identity. When you constantly make choices that go against your well-being, you start to see yourself as someone who just isn't disciplined. You stop trusting yourself. And that's a dangerous place to live. I had a habit problem, 4 to be exact, and each one was feeding the other. Procrastination led to stress, stress led to scrolling, scrolling led to sleep deprivation led to poor eating. And round it went a carousel of self-sabotage. I couldn't seem to step off until now. I told ChatGPT, act like my life coach, fix my 4 worst habits, give me a strict 7-day plan. If I cheat, call me out. This wasn't some casual experiment. I needed structure badly, so I gave it full authority over my routine. I told it exactly where I was slipping, what I wanted to change, and asked it to hold me accountable like a no-nonsense trainer who doesn't believe in excuses. I didn't want inspiration. I wanted intervention. A ChatGPT's planned daily schedule with 30-minute blocks. Meal planning with healthy options. Phone lockouts during key hours. Morning and night reflections with journaling prompts. It designed a surprisingly comprehensive plan. Each day was divided into time blocks, focused work, rest, meals, movement, and emotional reflection. It included reminders like close all tabs and breathe and pause before you snack. It wasn't just managing time, it was managing attention and intention. Even my phone was scheduled. It gave me Scroll Zone's 30-minute windows where I could check messages and social media guilt-free, followed by lockout suggestions. Outside those hours, cold turkey. And for meals, it gave recipes, not fancy Pinterest stuff. Realistic 10-minute meals like overnight oats, stir-fried veg with eggs, or wraps I could throw together. It knew I wasn't about to turn into Gordon Ramsay overnight. There were even prompts like, have you had water in the last hour? Or is this hunger or boredom? It was part therapist, part babysitter, part Navy SEAL. And yes, I asked it to send motivational threats if I slacked, and it delivered. If I missed a prompt or broke a rule, it didn't just let it slide. I'd get replies like, comfort is the enemy of growth. Or, you've mastered avoidance. Are you ready to master discipline? It stung. But weirdly, it worked. Quote from ARS.
Discipline is remembering what you want more than what you want now.
That line echoed in my head more than I expected. Every time I reached for my phone or delayed a task, that sentence was waiting. Discipline wasn't about punishment. It was about clarity. Reminding myself of my bigger why, even when the smaller wants felt louder. By the end of the planning session, I had something I hadn't felt in months' direction. No vague motivation, no lofty goals, just a clear path, simple actions, specific times, and a relentless digital voice reminding me of who I said I wanted to become. By day 2, I thought I was just fixing time and food habits. But the AI started showing me something deeper, my emotional habits. Habits aren't always about time, they're about pain, avoiding it, managing it, masking it. I didn't realize how many of my bad habits were actually survival tactics, little emotional escape routes, dressed up as laziness or distraction. Every time I paused to journal, the prompts didn't ask, what did you do today? They asked,
What were you avoiding? What triggered stress?
and
What emotion led you to pick up your phone?
one prompt asked.
When did you feel most uncomfortable today?
I didn't know how to answer at first. Then I realized it was during the silence, the quiet moments between tasks. That's when the anxiety crept in. The doubt, the thoughts I usually drowned in TikToks or snacks. The AI was making me sit in those moments, not fix them, not judge them, just notice them. That felt invasive, but also freeing. Turns out most of my bad habits were symptoms. My procrastination, it was fear of being judged. My late nights, escaping loneliness, my screen time, a distraction from feeling like I wasn't enough. These weren't just cute self-discoveries for a journal. These were emotional routes I had ignored for years. I'd told myself I had a discipline problem, but really, I had a discomfort problem. I avoided anything that made me feel unsure, unprepared, or unseen, and these habits, they were just my defense system, a system I built unconsciously. And now, with the AI acting like a mirror, I was seeing the architecture of my coping mechanisms. When you scroll, what feeling are you trying to silence? I wrote. Not feeling good enough unless I'm doing something impressive. That hit like a truck. And honestly, that moment changed more than any time-blocking strategy ever could. I'd built an identity around being productive, always chasing, always performing. But deep down, I didn't believe rest was earned unless it was preceded by achievement. That belief, it was draining me dry. That one journal entry felt like therapy, like a private confessional. And the AI didn't offer validation or cheerleading, just space to reflect. And that's all I needed. This wasn't just about productivity anymore. It was about pattern recognition. The invisible choices I was making based on invisible fears. And once I saw them, I couldn't unsee them. Every time I reached for my phone after that, I paused. Not because of guilt, but because I understood the why. that pause, that's where healing starts. The mirror effect of the AI wasn't mystical. It was mechanical. It just kept asking better questions than I was used to asking myself. And when you're honest with those questions, everything starts to shift. Day one started like this. Alarm at 7 a.m. The AI said, drink water, no phone for the first hour, walk for 20 minutes, then journal. But I ignored the first prompt. The second, half slept until 9. The guilt, immediate.
You asked me to help you, not to babysit your excuses.
It felt robotic, but also weirdly caring. Like a blunt friend who just won't let you spiral quietly. No phone from 8 a.m. to noon. I nearly lost my mind, but what did I actually do with those hours? I cleared my inbox. Oh, and I wrote 1,000 words. Ate breakfast too. My brain felt less foggy. Turns out your phone isn't the addiction. Avoidance is. The phone just makes it easier, doesn't it? Day 3 is when I noticed something wild. My thoughts weren't racing. Journaling prompts from AI were weirdly deep. I wrote honestly about stress, shame, identity. AI replied like a coach, not a therapist, direct, not emotional.
What are you avoiding by staying busy?
My reply, fear of failing if I really try. I stared at that for 10 minutes. AI wasn't healing me, but it was holding a mirror. And that did something. Everything was going smooth until I got obsessed with optimizing every second. I turned into a robot with a Fitbit. Every action had to be productive, but that's not sustainable. AI suggested,
take 1 hour, do something pointless you enjoy.
I painted badly, and I actually laughed. First time in days. Self-improvement isn't about squeezing output. It's about reconnecting with what makes you feel alive. I crashed, headache, irritable, wanted junk food and junk dopamine. I told the AI I'm done. ChatGPT's reply.
Discomfort is not failure, it's the price of transformation.
I rolled my eyes, but I kept going. The AI adjusted my schedule, swapped hard tasks for soft creatives ones, added a walk with music, let me vent without toxic positivity. And that's when I realized it wasn't about perfect days. It was about staying with the process anyway. I started waking up without snoozing, eating breakfast, working in 90-minute bursts. I wasn't perfect, but I was consistent. Wins? Screen time dropped by 42%. Sleep average moved from 2 a.m. to 11 p.m. I cooked 3 real meals. I actually liked being alone with my thoughts. Biggest shift, the goal wasn't to become an AI. It was to become aware of my patterns, my excuses, my triggers. Let's break it down. What stuck morning routine? Water, walk, journaling. Phone-free focus hours, self-check-ins via AI prompts. These became more than checklist items. They became anchors. My morning routine, for example, wasn't perfect, but now, instead of reaching for my phone the second I opened my eyes, I reached for a pen. And that one shift changed the tone of my entire day. The phone-free blocks gave me windows of mental clarity I didn't know I was missing. They were awkward at first, then they became sacred. And the journaling, that one surprised me. It turned into a lifeline, a quiet space where I could finally hear myself think without judgment. What didn't perfect diet? Nope. No procrastination, still human. The diet improvements were inconsistent. I still had junk food days. I still skipped meals when I was stressed, but there was awareness. And that's where real change starts. Not with perfection, but with pattern interruption. And yes, I still procrastinated, not as often, not as deeply. But I didn't become some productivity robot. The difference? I noticed it, caught it faster, recovered quicker. That's growth. But I now had a system, not just goals, a way to catch myself before the spiral. Goals are great, but they rely on willpower. Systems rely on structure. And structure is what shows up for you when motivation doesn't. What this experiment gave me wasn't just temporary improvement. It gave me tools I could repeat, a fallback routine, a self-reset blueprint. When things get chaotic, I now know exactly how to return to center. And honestly, that's the biggest win of all. I no longer trust my feelings in moments of chaos. I trust the plan I made when I was clear-headed. It's not about having perfect days. It's about having reliable systems that get you back on track after the imperfect ones. The AI didn't transform me. It trained me to ask better questions, to recognize emotional avoidance, and to respond instead of react. It taught me the discipline of noticing and observing. Would I recommend letting AI run your habits for a week? Yes, with this warning, AI can be a guide, but it's your decisions, your honesty, and your effort that make change stick. You don't need to be perfect. You just need a pattern that supports you when your motivation runs out. So, who's next? Let AI coach your life, or will you keep trusting chaos? Here's what I'll say. You won't come out of this a brand new person, but you might come out aware of the quiet lies you tell yourself, the tiny rituals that sabotage your day, and the emotional habits hiding beneath your physical ones. If you've ever felt stuck, if you've ever told yourself, I know what I should be doing, but I just can't seem to do it. This is your experiment, not because AI has all the answers, but because AI asks the right questions. And that alone is enough to crack something open. No guru, no biohacking, just a machine that reflects you, back to you, without bias, without ego, without excuses. And maybe that's what most of us are missing, the courage to be coached by something that doesn't care about our excuses, only our intentions. If you're ready to try this, drop a comment saying, I'm in. And I'll send you the exact plan AI gave me. Let's make this a challenge. 7 days, 4 habits, no fluff. And if you've already tried something like this, leave a comment down below. Let us know. What worked? What broke you? What changed you? If this resonated with you, please give us a like and subscribe to see more empowering videos. By day 4, I forgot how to pick my own breakfast. By day 6, I cried because an app told me to. I let an AI run every decision, every bite, every step, every word for 7 days straight, and I came out the other side different. This is what total surrender to code feels like. In those first hours, it felt like stepping into a strange game, one where I had signed away the controller and was now just watching myself move across the screen. Welcome back to Mentor's Mindset. I'm not a tech guru, I'm just curious. Like most of you, I juggle too many tabs, too many choices, too many what-ifs. So I wondered, if I offload every choice to an AI, do I gain super productivity or lose my mind? I named the AI Moss after the quiet tech guy in IT crowd and gave it admin rights over my life. 1 week, 0 overrides, total transparency, no pre-written list, no safety net. If Moss said jump, I asked how high and filmed the landing. I set clear rules with myself. Moss controlled my food, my wardrobe, my replies to friends, my calendar, even what time I went to bed. I wasn't allowed to veto, even if it felt ridiculous. That was the deal. The reason I tried this wasn't for clicks or to play stuntman. It was because decision fatigue is real. Studies suggest we make over 30,000 small decisions a day, from what socks to wear to how to answer an email. And the cost of those micro decisions adds up. I wanted to know what would happen if I handed all of that over. Would my brain rest, or would I lose myself? I opened the experiment by reading Moss. It's brief. You have full authority over my calendar, spending, diet, social replies, clothing, leisure, and sleep. Moss replies with a calm bot voice.
Breakfast is 250 milliliters oatmeal, pinch of salt, no sugar, 300 milliliters water, 9-minute simmer.
I hate oatmeal. I eat it anyway. Immediately I feel the relief advertisers promise. No decision, just obedience. The bowl is empty. The brain is quiet. I should feel freed. Instead, I feel blank. By lunchtime, Moss schedules a 22-minute walk through a neighborhood I've never visited. I notice my internal compass spin. I rely on Google Maps for every turn. Researchers call this cognitive offloading, and studies from 2024 show heavy GPS users lose roughly 40% of their natural spatial memory over 2 years. I'm basically live streaming that study. That first bowl felt like a contract. Every bite tasted like surrender, like I'd handed over a tiny piece of myself for the sake of the experiment. As I walked, I realized how rarely I actually pay attention to the shape of streets or the way buildings line up. Moss's choice of an unfamiliar neighborhood made me aware that my own memory of place is fragile, propped up by apps and directions. By the end of day 1, I didn't feel lighter. I felt strangely hollow, as if I'd pressed mute on the voice in my head that usually argues and negotiates over every small choice. Morning 2 starts with a text.
Wear mismatched socks to stimulate creativity.
I laugh, but Moss is serious. At work, Moss rearranges my to-do list into 17-minute sprints with 4-minute breaks. Output jumps 12%, but by 2 p.m. my head aches. The micro's scheduling keeps me hyper-alert, like a mouse tapping a lever for pellets. I crave a coffee. Moss says,
Herbal tea only, caffeine spikes cortisol.
I hate that too, but I comply. Social filter disappears next. I must reply to every DM with a compliment. I tell a high school buddy his moustache is symmetrically heroic. He blocks me. The absurdity spikes views when I clip it for shorts, but inside I'm shrinking. I realize choices are tiny mirrors. Remove them and you stop seeing yourself. The socks got a laugh at the office, but the laugh wasn't mine. It felt staged, like I was following a script someone else had written. By the third sprint at work, my head was buzzing. The rhythm was efficient, but unnatural, as if my day had been chopped into mechanical fragments. I was getting more done, but enjoying none of it. Even the simple act of denying myself coffee made me aware of how many choices in my life are just small comforts. Moss stripped them away in the name of discipline, but the cost was emotional, not just physical. When I called my friend's moustache heroic, I meant it as a joke. But it landed wrong because context and tone are choices too, and I'd outsourced them. That was the moment I felt the erosion of my own voice. Moss saves the strangers for midweek.
Buy a 1,000-piece jigsaw of a cloudless sky, complete tonight.
I haven't done a puzzle since 2008. I dump the pieces on the dinner table and start. 2 hours in, my brain begs for dopamine, no phone, no music, just 998 identical blue fragments. Then something odd. The internal chatter quiets. Psychologists call this soft fascination, a state where gentle repetition restores attention. I finish at 2 a.m., oddly proud. For the first time, I thank Moss out loud. The moment is short-lived. Tomorrow will be harder. At first, I was furious. 1,000 pieces of blue sky. It felt like punishment, but as I searched for corners, something shifted. The silence stopped being oppressive. It became almost soothing. I'd forgotten what it felt like to let time pass without measuring it against productivity or outcomes. Piece by piece, my brain settled into a rhythm that wasn't chasing likes or deadlines. It was just existing. When I finished, I felt a surge of pride so out of proportion it shocked me. I actually whispered, "Thanks, Moss." And for the first time, I meant it. Moss wakes me at 4:55 a.m. with a new rule.
No spoken words until sunset, text only.
My partner thinks I'm pranking her. I type apologies on my phone while Moss orders a silent Uber to a climbing gym. I'm terrified of heights. On the wall, palms sweating, I want to rage quit, but I climb because that was the deal. At the top, the instructor snaps a photo. I expect panic. Instead, I feel exhilarated. Later studies ping in my inbox. Confronting controlled fears spikes dopamine and re-anchors risk assessments. Moss knew. That night, the silence continues. I write in my notes, I miss my voice. I never realized how much I use speech to fend off loneliness. Emotional dependence on AI chat is already documented in teens. I'm a middle-aged adult getting a taste. The screen glows back. You're doing great. I almost cry, then hate myself for almost crying over an algorithm. The silence was brutal. I never realized how much I rely on casual words, thank you, sorry, even pointless chatter to feel human. Without them, I felt cut off from the world. The climb was worse. Every muscle shook. Every instinct screamed to come down. But reaching the top gave me a rush that silence had stolen. It was proof that Moss wasn't just torturing me, it was forcing growth. That night, typing "I miss my voice" felt like the truest sentence I'd written all week when Moss replied,
"You're doing great."
The comfort was real enough to sting. I hated that I wanted more of it. Final morning, Moss pings.
Spend 3 hours offline in a park. Leave phone on bench, walk 300 steps away.
My heart races, no lifeline. I sit in grass. No podcast, no scrolling. After 20 minutes, birds stop ignoring me. A sparrow lands 1 meter away. I'm suddenly aware my breathing has slowed to 6 breaths per minute, the same rate mindfulness apps chase, only now it's free. The realization hits. AI pushed me into discomfort that circled back to the most human moment of the week. I return to the bench expecting enlightenment. Instead, I feel balanced, not upgraded, not obsolete, balanced. At first, I panicked. No phone meant no distraction, no safety net, but as the minutes stretched, something inside me unclenched. The air smelled sweeter. The grass felt rough under my palms, and the silence was no longer empty, it was alive. The sparrow hopping closer was such a tiny thing, but it felt monumental. It was like the world had been waiting for me to shut up and notice it. I realized moss had dragged me through discipline and discomfort just to hand me back something I could have chosen all along. Stillness. Okay, if you've ever felt decision fatigue screaming in your skull, comment the one choice you wish an AI could make for you. I'll pin the funniest. And if you want to watch Moss push me further, hit subscribe next week. I let it rewrite my childhood memories with deep fake photos. No, I'm not okay. So tell me honestly, would you hand your next meal to an algorithm or your next text to a friend? Drop it in the comments. I want to see how far you'd let it go. I tallied the week, 47% more tasks finished, 28% less screen time, sleep up 34 minutes nightly, caffeine cut to 0. Yet I score 19% lower on a standard critical thinking assessment compared to my baseline. Cognitive offloading is real, folks. My brain went on vacation and forgot to mail a postcard. Productivity was up, yes, but creativity felt dulled. I was sharper at ticking boxes, slower at connecting dots. It was as if Moss had made me into a better machine, but a worse human. Financially, I broke even. Moss saved me from impulse buys, but encouraged me to spend on growth challenges. My wallet didn't change, but my sense of control over it did. At 11:59 p.m., I open the app and type, "Authority revoked." The cursor blinks. I expect fireworks. Instead, the room just feels louder. I walk to the kitchen, stare at the fridge, overwhelmed by possibility. Cereal, toast, leftover tie. My gut says nothing. It's outvoted by too many options. I stand there 7 minutes, paralyzed. The experiment ended, yet the side effect lingers. Decision rust. Researchers warn that sudden removal of AI support can spike stress as competence atrophy shows. They're right. I finally pick eggs because they expire soon, my first autonomous choice in 168 hours, and burn them. Turns out I forgot how to watch a pan while scrolling. That moment at the fridge was the hardest of the week. It should have been easy. Instead, it was proof that my brain had gone soft from disuse. The burnt eggs made me laugh, but they also scared me. If 7 days could dull something as basic as frying, what would 7 months do? So I started small, choosing my own breakfast for 3 days, then my own outfit, then replying to a friend without asking Moss. Every tiny choice felt like lifting a weight I'd forgotten how to hold. So should you hand your life to an AI? If you want productivity bootcamp, sure, Moss shredded my procrastination. If you crave surprise, absolutely, I did things I'd never schedule. But if you value the muscle of choosing, tread carefully. Every outsourced decision is a rep your brain doesn't lift. Use AI like a spotter, not a substitute. Keep the weight light enough to curl alone. I'm keeping Moss renamed Spotter now, but it only gets veto power, not the keys to the cockpit. Try a day, maybe 2, 7. That's a shortcut to learning how quiet a mind can get when no one's home inside. Thanks for riding shotgun through the strangest week of my life. Your turn. What's the first thing you'd ask an AI to choose for you, and what are you afraid it might pick? Drop it below, and I'll see you in the next experiment, assuming my brain shows up. Please like, share, and subscribe to Mentor's Mindset. The biggest lesson wasn't about AI at all, it was about me. I learned that surrender can strip you bare, but only taking back control teaches you how to stand again. So yes, I'll keep Spotter as a sidekick, but the choices that make me, the ones that shape who I am, I'll be making those myself. You've seen the videos, AI as a therapist, AI as a life coach, AI versus my friends, AI giving me better advice than my closest friends, AI fixing my bad habits, and no, I am not AI dependent. Let's just clear that up right now before someone drops that in the comments. But here's the truth. Each one of those experiments wasn't just for views. They genuinely changed something in how I think, reflect, and make decisions. So today, I want to pass that power to you. In this video, I'm giving you the exact AI prompts I used to run every one of those experiments. These are not vague or overly complex. They are direct, personal, and designed to work even if you have never used an AI chatbot in your life. Think of this video as your personal starter kit, not for hacking the algorithm, but for hacking your mindset. Let's get into it. Welcome back to Mentor's Mindset. Before I give you the prompts, let me tell you why this works. When most people open ChatGPT, Gemini, Apple Intelligence, apologies still in the making, or any AI assistant, they treat it like Google. They ask it for facts, instructions, maybe a recipe, but what they miss is that these tools can also become a kind of digital mirror. They reflect, they challenge. And if you know what to say to them, they can unlock things in you that you've been avoiding for years. That's not me overhyping it. I've had moments where I typed a few honest sentences into an AI and suddenly I'm staring at a truth I had been dodging for months. That is the power of asking the right questions, and today I'm handing those questions over to you. So get your notes app ready, or screenshot, or just pause and try them out as we go. Prompt: act like a reflective therapist. Don't diagnose me. Just ask thoughtful questions about my emotions, habits, and identity. Let's explore what I'm really feeling, even if I'm not sure yet. Why it matters. We all need someone who listens without jumping in with solutions. We need someone who doesn't say, just cheer up or you'll be fine. This prompt turns your AI into that person. It will start asking you the kind of questions a really good therapist might ask. Things like,
What emotion is hardest for you to express? And why? When did you last feel truly seen? What are you avoiding because you're afraid of what it might say about you?
no diagnosis, no labels, just gentle, persistent curiosity. Try this at night before bed or after a stressful moment during the day. It's like peeling back layers of noise and finally hearing your own voice again. Prompt: be my personal habit coach. Help me fix my procrastination, phone addiction, poor sleep, and bad eating habits. I want a daily routine for 7 days, divided into time blocks with specific actions. Check in with me each day, and if I mess up, hold me accountable. Why it matters. This one works if you're tired of feeling like your days are slipping through your fingers. Maybe you wake up scrolling. Maybe you go to bed with regret. This prompt creates a real plan, and not just a vague one like wake up earlier. It gives you hour-by-hour structure. You can even ask it to include meal ideas, workout options, reflection time, and break periods. You can make it spiritual, creative, introverted, extroverted. This is like building a personal boot camp without paying for a coach. And the best part, it remembers. So when you return the next day and say, I didn't follow yesterday's routine, it will call you out in the most polite way, of course. But still, it keeps you on track when motivation fades. Prompt: I'm debating whether to listen to my friends or to you. Give me brutally honest advice about a personal decision I'm struggling with. No fluff, no people-pleasing. Then tell me what you think my friends would say and explain the difference, why it matters. Sometimes your friends love you too much to be honest. Or maybe they want you to make the decision that benefits them too. This prompt lets you compare the emotional, human side of advice with a more logical, neutral one. What makes this powerful is the contrast. You'll often see the gap between comfort and truth, between support and clarity. And it will make you think twice about who you've been listening to, not to shame anyone, but to start recognizing the influences around you and whether they are helping or just keeping you stuck. Prompt: help me journal. Ask me uncomfortable but important questions about what I'm avoiding, how I self-sabotage, and what I actually want from my life. Be gentle, but don't let me dodge the truth. Why it matters. Journaling is powerful only if it's honest. This prompt makes the AI your journaling partner. It doesn't just say, how was your day? It asks, what did you do today that went against your values? Or what's the hardest truth you've admitted to yourself this year? You can set a timer, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and just let the questions guide you. This is one of the fastest ways I've found to reconnect with my deeper goals and inner voice. Prompt: act like an emotional mirror. Based on my habits and what I tell you, reflect back what emotional patterns I might be stuck in. Help me notice where I'm choosing comfort over growth. We all have blind spots. And one of the biggest ones is where we keep choosing easy over meaningful. This prompt will take your behavior, what you say, what you do, what you avoid, and show you the emotional pattern underneath it. Maybe you keep jumping from one project to another. The AI might point out a fear of failure disguised as ambition, or maybe you're avoiding intimacy by staying too busy. When you use this regularly, it becomes like a personal pattern tracker. And the more aware you are of your patterns, the easier they are to change. Prompt: act as my week-long life coach. Each day, give me a morning routine, a healthy task, a mindset reset, and one deep journaling question. Help me live better, think clearer, and stop scrolling my life away. This is your full experiment in a single sentence. You're not just reacting to life anymore, you're designing it. This prompt blends habit, mindset, reflection, and accountability into one. Every day you get a nudge forward, and every night you get a mirror. It is the closest thing to having a mentor, a coach, a therapist, and a planner all in one app. Here's how to make these prompts actually work. Be honest when you answer. If you lie to the AI, you're just lying to yourself. Keep a record. Screenshot the best answers. Journal your reflections. Notice what changes. Use voice if possible. Many AI tools can now take voice input. Speaking your truth can feel more real than typing it. Try it before you judge it. Some of this might sound a little too deep or a little too uncomfortable, but growth usually is. Let's talk about what happens when the magic fades, because here's the truth, not every AI response is life-changing. Sometimes it just gives you surface-level fluff, or worse, you stare at the screen and realize you don't even know what you're feeling. That's normal. In fact, that's a sign you're close to something important. So what do you do when the prompt doesn't hit? Tip 1. Rephrase, don't restart. Instead of ditching the prompt, try rephrasing it. Add more personal context. For example, instead of saying, help me with my emotions, try, I keep feeling anxious after family calls. Can you help me unpack what's behind that? Be specific. Emotion lives in the details. Tip 2. Ask for follow-ups. If the AI gives a shallow answer, push back, type something like, go deeper. Ask me a harder question. That feels too safe, challenge me. AI won't get offended, you're in charge of the depth. Tip 3, take it offline. If you get emotionally flooded or stuck in your head, pause the chat and switch mediums. Try voice notes to yourself, or grab a pen and write the question down manually. Sometimes it's not the AI that's blocked, it's us, and writing helps clear the fog. Tip 4, combine AI with real people. Talk about what came up in a session with a coach, mentor, therapist, or friend. These prompts aren't replacements, they are warm-ups. They get you ready for deeper conversations with the people you trust. So if you hit a wall, don't stop. That wall is often the doorway. Now that you've tried the ones I gave you, let's level up. Let's talk about how to create your own AI prompts, ones that are personal, powerful, and specific to where you are in life. Here's a formula I use. You can screenshot this. Step 1, start with the role. Tell the AI who you want it to be. A coach, a therapist, a mirror, a blunt friend. Act like a coach who doesn't let me make excuses. Be a therapist who listens deeply but also challenges me. Step 2, describe the context. What are you facing? Be as real as possible. I just lost motivation and keep falling back into old habits. I'm stuck in a friendship that feels one-sided, but I can't walk away. Step 3, set the tone. Tell it what kind of response you want. Ask me honest but gentle questions. Push me emotionally, but don't be rude. Step 4, add an outcome. What do you want by the end of the conversation? I want to understand why I keep procrastinating. I want to build a simple plan for the next 3 days. Here's a full example prompt using this formula. Act like a wise coach who understands human patterns. I've been avoiding making a phone call that I know matters. Help me explore what I'm afraid of, why I keep delaying it, and what would help me finally take action. That's it. You're ready to go off script. You don't need to copy anymore. You can start creating prompts that speak directly to your soul. So now you've got the tools. 6 prompts, all tested, all real, all designed to move you from scrolling to reflecting, from drifting through the week to actually building one you are proud of. Now it's your turn. Try one prompt tonight, just one. Come back tomorrow and try a different one. See how it feels, what comes up, what shifts. And when something clicks, when the reflection hits, or a habit sticks, make sure to hit that like button, or a journal entry surprises you. Drop it in the comments, I want to hear how it landed for you. Also, make sure you subscribe, because next week I'm doing something wild. Pray for me. Until then, ask better questions and you might just get better answers. You probably feel that you're the one in control of your daily life, that you decide what to eat, what to watch, where you put your money, which path your career will follow. And every choice feels like your own, a small act of personal will. But there is a hidden hand at work, a quiet influence that gently guides your decisions in moments both great and small. This force is not some grand conspiracy, nor is it a supernatural power. It is, of course, artificial intelligence. And this isn't a vision of some distant science fiction future. It is here with us right now. It has woven itself so deeply into the fabric of our world that we barely even register its presence. Yet its impact is profound, quietly reshaping our society, our businesses, and our own lives. Most of us see AI as a simple tool, something we choose to use. The reality, however, is far more complex. AI has become a partner, an advisor, and in some cases, the decision-maker-in-chief. The question then is no longer if AI will start making our decisions, but to what extent it already is. How much of your own autonomy have you unknowingly passed to it? And what happens when these remarkable yet unthinking systems get it wrong? You may think you chose to watch this, but what if I were to tell you that the decision was, in a way, made for you, long before you even opened the app? A recommendation algorithm analyzed trillions of pieces of information, your viewing habits, your interests, even the time of day, and predicted with an almost unnerving accuracy that this very subject would capture your imagination. This is the hidden force guiding so much of our modern world. And over the next few minutes, we'll uncover how this intelligence is already shaping everything, from the news you read to the medical care you receive. It seems we are not quite the masters of our own choices that we believe ourselves to be. Welcome back to Mentor's Mindset. This begins not with a great pronouncement, but in the quiet moments of our everyday lives. The most successful forms of influence are often the ones we welcome, the ones that offer us a little convenience. Think about your morning. The news you glance at on your phone, it's been curated by an algorithm, one designed not necessarily to show you what is most important, but what is most likely to keep you engaged. The route you take to work, that's been optimized by a GPS system analyzing real-time traffic data to make the most efficient choice you. The spam filter in your email, the films suggested on your streaming service, the friends recommended on social media, all of these are subtle decisions being made on your behalf by AI. These systems work on a simple, powerful principle. They learn from your behavior to predict what you might want. Every click, every like, every single pause is a piece of data fed into a vast machine learning model. The goal is a seamless, personalized experience, and on the surface, this is wonderfully helpful. We get better recommendations, more relevant adverts, and faster journeys. AI automates the small, tedious choices, freeing up our minds for more important things. But there is a deeper consequence. As we come to rely on these systems, we begin to outsource our own judgment. We stop seeking out new kinds of music because Spotify's playlists are just so good. We stop questioning our news feed because it's so perfectly tailored to what we already believe. This convenience comes at a price, a gradual narrowing of our world. We are gently guided into a filter bubble, an echo chamber of our own preferences, where our choices aren't really choices at all, but simply confirmations of what an algorithm has already decided we like. This isn't a malicious plan, it's just the logical result of a system built for maximum efficiency. But it does raise a vital question. When an AI can predict your tastes and serve you tailored content, are you still exercising free will? Or are you just following a path that's been laid out for you? The line is becoming wonderfully and perhaps worryingly blurry. The very convenience that AI offers can, in turn, remove the chance for us to think and choose for ourselves, and this subtle erosion of our autonomy is happening every day in millions of tiny decisions that, together, shape who we are. But this is only the beginning. The true power of AI decision-making becomes clearest when the stakes are much, much higher. Much. Let's turn from film recommendations to something with truly life-altering consequences: your money. The world of finance, once a place of human instinct and gut feeling, is now one of the most AI-driven environments on the planet. From the trading floors of Wall Street to your personal banking app, artificial intelligence is making critical financial decisions every single millisecond. The world's major financial institutions no longer just experiment with AI. It's now absolutely central to their strategy. JP Morgan Chase, for example, uses an AI to scan complex financial documents, extracting vital information for investment deals, and slashing a process that once took humans weeks down to mere hours. It isn't just about speed, it's about depth. AI algorithms can sift through colossal data sets, news reports, social media chatter, geopolitical risks to predict how the markets might move. After events like Brexit, traders using AI-powered systems were able to forecast a fall in the British pound far quicker than their human colleagues. This has led to the rise of algorithmic trading, where AI systems execute enormous volumes of trades in fractions of a second, reacting to market changes faster than any human ever could. But it's not just the giants of finance. The decisions that affect you directly are also increasingly automated. When you apply for a loan or a credit card, it's highly likely an AI model makes the first judgment. These systems analyze your financial history and spending habits to decide if you're a good risk. Proponents will argue this is a fairer system, as an algorithm holds no personal prejudice. It bases its assessment on data alone, which could open up credit to people who might have been overlooked by traditional human checks. And what's more, AI is the silent guardian of our finances. Banks use sophisticated machine learning to spot fraud in real time. These systems learn your typical spending patterns, where you shop, how much you spend, to flag any transaction that seems unusual, often stopping a theft before you're even aware of it. This level of security would be impossible for humans to manage alone, but this dependence on AI in finance carries its own significant risks. The black box problem is a major concern. Quite often, the complex models used are so intricate that even their own creators don't fully understand how they reach a particular conclusion. If an AI denies you a loan, it can be almost impossible to get a clear answer as to why. Was it a fair reading of your history, or did the algorithm find a biased pattern in the data it was trained on? There's also the danger of over-reliance. When an AI becomes the default decision maker, human oversight and critical thinking can begin to fade. This automation, while efficient, hands enormous power to systems that, for all their logic, have no human context or ethical compass. The decisions that shape your financial future, from your pensions performance to whether you can afford to buy a house, are increasingly being made inside a silicon chip, driven by a logic we can't always see or question. If giving an algorithm power over our finances seems unsettling, consider this. AI is now involved in decisions that could mean the difference between life and death. The world of healthcare is going through a revolution, and artificial intelligence is at the very center of it, changing how diseases are diagnosed, how treatments are planned, and how new medicines are discovered. One of the most remarkable breakthroughs is in diagnostics, especially medical imaging. AI algorithms trained on millions of scans are becoming almost superhuman radiologists. They can analyze X-rays, kinetic scans, and MRIs with a precision that can surpass human experts. Studies have shown AI systems detecting signs of lung cancer with 94% accuracy, far greater than the 65% managed by human radiologists. In South Korea, an AI showed 90% sensitivity in spotting breast cancer, again, significantly outperforming its human counterparts. These tools can find the faintest, most subtle traces of disease at its very earliest stage, often before a human doctor could, and long before a patient has any symptoms. This is not about replacing our doctors, it's about augmenting their incredible skills. An AI can perform the initial screening of thousands of images, freeing up human radiologists to focus on the most difficult cases and to spend more time with their patients. The increase in efficiency is immense, reducing workloads and cutting the time for a diagnosis from weeks down to minutes. The decision-making power of AI in healthcare goes well beyond diagnosis. In 2025, Google's Articulate Medical Intelligence Explorer, or AME, showed in a study that it could outperform human doctors in diagnostic accuracy and even empathy during text-based conversations. AI is also being used to create incredibly personal treatment plans. By analyzing a patient's genetics, lifestyle, and medical history, an AI can predict which treatments are most likely to work for them. For instance, new AI-powered tests can analyze a prostate cancer patient's tumor to see if they'll respond to a certain drug, helping them avoid ineffective and grueling therapies. AI is even accelerating the discovery of new medicines, a process that has historically taken more than a decade and cost billions. By simulating how molecules interact and predicting how effective different compounds might be, AI is helping scientists identify promising new drugs at a truly unprecedented speed. But with this incredible power comes immense responsibility and a new landscape of ethical questions. What happens when an AI's diagnosis clashes with a human doctor's? Who is responsible if an AI-guided treatment plan doesn't work? And there's a very real danger of automation bias, where doctors might become so reliant on AI suggestions that they stop applying their own critical judgment. Studies have shown that when an AI explains its reasoning, humans are more likely to follow its advice, even if their own intuition tells them otherwise. And, of course, the data used to train these AI models is everything. If that data isn't diverse and representative of everyone, it can lead to biased results that reinforce existing health inequalities. The promise of AI in medicine is a world of more precise, personal, and predictive healthcare. But getting there requires very careful navigation. The decision about the treatment you receive or the diagnosis you're given is no longer just in the hands of your doctor. It is a partnership between human expertise and artificial intelligence. And as we hand over more of these crucial decisions, we must be careful never to lose sight of the human being at the heart of it all. The influence of artificial intelligence spreads out beyond our personal lives and into the very structures that govern our societies. Two of the most critical areas being reshaped by AI decision-making are how we find work and the information we consume as citizens. These aren't small individual choices. These are decisions that ripple outwards, affecting our economy, our culture, and our democracy. Let's begin with the world of work. If you've applied for a job recently, particularly at a large company, your application was almost certainly read by an AI before it ever reached a human. Companies are using AI to manage the sheer volume of applications they receive. These systems scan for keywords, skills, and experience, ranking candidates and filtering out those it deems unqualified. The aim is to make hiring more efficient and to spot the best fit candidates in a vast sea of applicants. On one hand, you could see this as a move towards a fairer system. An AI, in theory, doesn't care about your name, your gender, or your background. It only sees the qualifications on the page. But the potential for bias is enormous. AI models are trained on historical hiring data, and if that data reflects the discriminatory practices of the past, the AI will learn and repeat those very same biases. Research has already shown that some AI hiring tools can put women and minority candidates at a systematic disadvantage. The decision of whether you even get an interview could be made by an algorithm with invisible, inherited prejudices. Once you are in a job, AI continues to make decisions. It's used to monitor performance, allocate resources, and even to identify employees it thinks are at risk of leaving. The shift is unmistakable. AI is no longer just an administrative assistant. It is becoming a strategic partner in how we manage our entire workforce. And just as AI curates our professional lives, it also curates our reality. The news we read and the search results we see are all governed by powerful algorithms. These systems are designed to keep us engaged, which often means showing us content that confirms what we already think or that provokes a strong emotional response. This is what creates the filter bubble or echo chamber, where we are insulated from different points of view and our own biases are reflected back at us, amplified. The decision of what information is important, what is credible, and what is worthy of our attention is no longer being made by human editors, or even by us. It's being made by an automated system whose main purpose is to keep us clicking. This has profound consequences for a functioning democracy, which depends on well-informed citizens who have access to a wide range of perspectives. When algorithms decide what we see, they are in effect shaping public opinion and influencing our political world. Handing over these vital societal decisions, who gets a job, what news we see, to automated systems is a fundamental shift in power. We are trading human judgment with all of its flaws for algorithmic efficiency, with all of its hidden biases. While AI can certainly enhance our own decision-making, it cannot and should not replace human oversight completely. The context, the nuance, and the ethical thinking that are so vital for fair and just societies are for now uniquely human. The challenge ahead isn't to stop AI, but to learn how to govern it, to ensure its decisions serve the greater good. The world is changing faster than ever before, and artificial intelligence is driving that transformation. If you wish to stay informed and understand the technologies that are shaping all of our futures, do consider subscribing to this channel. We explore these complex subjects to give you the knowledge you need to navigate this remarkable new era. Click the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss what we discover next. We have journeyed from the quiet influence of a recommendation algorithm to the life and death decisions made in our hospitals and the great societal choices that shape our economy and our democracy. And it seems the conclusion is clear. Artificial intelligence is already making our decisions. It's a reality that is at once both awe-inspiring and deeply unsettling. On the one hand, AI offers a level of efficiency and accuracy that can help solve some of humanity's most difficult problems. It can spot disease earlier, prevent financial crime, and handle the mundane tasks that take up our time, freeing us to be more creative and strategic. On the other hand, this growing reliance on automated systems presents a whole new set of challenges. The risk of algorithmic bias, the black box nature of these complex models, and the slow erosion of our own critical thinking are not problems for the future. They are here with us today. We face a strange paradox. We build these systems to serve us, but in our search for convenience, we risk becoming servants to the very logic that we created. The technology is a prediction machine. It doesn't possess judgment, which is the very essence of good decision-making. The future is not a battle of human versus machine. It must be about finding a new kind of partnership. It will demand that we develop new skills, not just in technology and data, but in critical thinking, ethical reasoning, and the art of collaborating with these intelligent systems. We must learn when to trust the algorithm and when to question it, when to follow its lead and when to rely on our own uniquely human intuition. We stand at a crossroads. The choices we make today about how we design, use, and regulate artificial intelligence will define the future of human freedom. The technology itself is neutral. It is how we choose to use it that will determine whether it leads to a world of empowered creativity or one of diminished autonomy. So I will leave you with this one question. Now that you can see the hidden strings, what choices will you make differently tomorrow? I would be very interested to read your thoughts in the comments below. Please do like, share, comment, and subscribe. See you next time. I used to think AI was just a toy for coders in hoodies, something that could beat me at chess, recommend some truly weird documentaries at 2 a.m., or maybe just make my smart speaker play the wrong song on command. It felt distant, futuristic, and honestly, a little intimidating. Then one night, while I was yelling at my phone, because the GPS had for the third time confidently led me down the same dead-end street, something clicked. Amidst my frustration, a thought surfaced. The way this thing learns, adapts, and course corrects, or tries to, is actually the exact playbook I needed for my own messy, unpredictable life. Since that moment, I've been quietly stealing 5 incredibly powerful habits straight from the AI playbook. And let me tell you, they've sneakily upgraded everything. We're talking my health, my cash flow, even my notoriously awkward small talk at parties. These aren't abstract theories. They're practical, actionable shifts that have genuinely made a difference. So, stick around because I promise you lesson 3 alone saved me a solid 7 hours last week, and there's a really good chance it could do the same for you. This isn't about becoming a robot. It's about learning from the best digital minds to live a more intentional, effective, and frankly, easier human life. Welcome back to Mentor's Mindset. Think about it. AI never truly graduates. It doesn't get a diploma and declare, well, my learning is complete. Instead, it just keeps swallowing new data, processing it, and course-correcting its internal models. Take Netflix's recommendation engine, for instance. It's not a static algorithm. It updates every single time you hover over a thumbnail, click on a show, or even just pause for a moment. Did you miss a Friday night movie? The model doesn't judge. It just shrugs, adjusts its understanding of your preferences, and tries again with a new set of suggestions. It's built for perpetual, relentless improvement. I borrowed that exact mindset last spring after what can only be described as a public speaking gig bomb. I mean, it was a disaster. I stumbled, lost my train of thought, and could practically see people checking their watches. Instead of stewing in embarrassment or worse, deciding I was just bad at public speaking, I decided to treat the entire cringe-worthy experience like fresh training data. I watched the replay, yes, the utterly painful replay, and instead of focusing on how bad I felt, I tagged the exact moments where the crowd zoned out, where my voice faltered, and where my slides were confusing. I then retrained, focusing on those specific weak points. A month later, I gave essentially the same talk at a local college, and the applause at the end lasted longer than the original speech itself. The difference was night and day. Continuous learning isn't just some fluffy motivational poster slogan. It's a robust system. It's about creating feedback loops in your own life. Collect the feedback, tweak the weights of your approach, and then rerun the experiment. It's how AI writing editors like Grammarly learn from millions of language patterns to offer better suggestions, helping us improve our writing over time. It's an iterative process, not a destination. So, how do you start? Tonight, pick one micro skill, something small, manageable, but something you want to improve. Maybe it's making the perfect omelette, or crafting more effective emails, or even just having more engaging conversations. Then, consciously run 5 deliberate iterations. Don't just do it. Actively reflect, adjust, and try again. By dinner tomorrow, I guarantee you'll taste the upgrade, whether it's in your cooking, your communication, or your confidence. Stay curious, stay flexible, and remember, learning is a continuous process, not a one-time event. In our modern world, we literally drown in information, yet paradoxically, we often starve for genuine insight. Our phones, our browsers, our smart devices, they're all constantly generating data about us. AI, however, doesn't just collect data, it survives and thrives by ruthlessly filtering out the noise to find the signal. Think about Spotify's Discover weekly playlist. It's not magic, it's a sophisticated algorithm crunching billions of data points. Your listening habits, skips, shares, even the listening habits of people with similar tastes, all of it is used to serve you 30 songs you'll probably love. It feels uncanny because it's leveraging data to understand you better than you might understand yourself. I mirrored that exact approach with my own notoriously messy personal finances. For years, I just paid my bills and hoped for the best. Then, I decided to get analytical. I exported a full year's worth of credit card transactions into a free CSV file. It looked like a giant, intimidating spreadsheet at first. But then I started color coding green for needs, red for wants. And that's when it hit me. Right there, in stark red, was a consistent 137 a month leak on delivery of Chinese food, 137 pounds. I mean, I love Chinese food, but that's a small fortune. One quick homemade Chinese food tutorial later, and suddenly I'm 1,244 richer per year, and guess what? Still perfectly fed. And arguably, the Chinese food is even better. You don't need a PhD in data science to do this. You just need a basic spreadsheet and the guts to actually look at the numbers. AI-powered meal planners optimize grocery shopping and nutrition by analyzing your preferences and dietary needs, showing you how a little data can go a long way. What messy pile of personal data can you mine this weekend? It could be your screen time report, those piles of grocery receipts you've been ignoring, your step counter data, or even a simple journal of your daily energy levels. Pick one, interrogate it, ask it what it's trying to tell you, and then let the numbers vote on your next move. The insights you uncover might just surprise you and lead to smarter decisions that genuinely improve your life. If AI has a killer app, it's boredom removal. Seriously, that's its superpower. It excels at taking on the mind-numbing, repetitive tasks that drain our energy and eat up our precious time. Consider Gmail's smart replies. Those little auto-generated response options save users a significant amount of time. This isn't just about typing less. It's about freeing up mental bandwidth, reducing decision fatigue, and allowing us to focus on more complex, meaningful interactions. I piggybacked on that very idea to solve one of the most insidious, time-sucking spirals in my own life. The endless, where should we eat group chat debate. You know the one. It starts innocently enough, then devolves into 20 messages, 5 conflicting dietary restrictions, and ultimately a last-minute, unenthusiastic decision. I decided to automate it. I wrote a 15-line Python script, nothing fancy, just a simple bit of code that randomly picks a restaurant from a pre-approved list my friends and I had curated. Then, it books an open table slot and drops the confirmation, complete with a witty emoji, directly into our group chat. Total setup time, 45 minutes, tops. The time saved monthly, a conservative estimate puts it at 7 hours. Those reclaimed evenings weren't just empty space, they became the window where I finally learned enough chords on my rusty guitar to play Here Comes the Sun at my sister's wedding. Automation isn't about being lazy. It's about being strategic. It's why businesses use AI to automate onboarding processes, handle employee FAQs, and manage project tasks, saving countless hours of manual work. Identify one recurring task that nibbles away at your life, whether it's sorting invoices, renaming files, watering plants, or even planning your weekly meals. Then swap it for a bot, a simple template, or an IFTTT template. Trust me, creativity doesn't just appreciate an open calendar, it absolutely loves one. The old adage, garbage in, garbage out, wasn't just coined by programmers for fun. It's a fundamental truth in the digital world, and increasingly in our own lives. The real magic of something like ChatGPT isn't just the vast model itself, it's the craft of the prompt. You can ask, tell me about fitness, and you'll get a generic Wikipedia-level overview. But swap that for design a 3-day dumbbell routine for a 34-year-old dad who has 20 minutes to train, access to a home gym, and a bad knee. And suddenly, you'll watch the answer sharpen into something incredibly specific, actionable, and genuinely useful. The quality of your input directly determines the quality of your output. I tested this same principle on my doctor, and it was a revelation. For months, I'd been saying, why do I feel so tired all the time? And getting vague advice about stress or sleep. It was frustrating. Then, inspired by prompt engineering, I reframed my question. Instead of a general complaint, I asked, given my latitude, my entirely indoor job, and my symptoms of afternoon fatigue, could my vitamin D levels be a contributing factor? Boom. That specific targeted question led to targeted blood work, a prescription, and within weeks, an energy level I honestly hadn't felt since college. It was like finally twisting a blurry dial into perfect focus. This isn't just about interacting with AI or doctors. It's about improving communication in all aspects of life. Users learn to rephrase queries to AI assistants for clearer, more useful outputs. And that same discipline translates directly to how we communicate with colleagues, partners, or even ourselves. Questions are powerful dials. Twist them towards specificity, and the world and its solutions click into focus. Tomorrow morning, instead of letting one vague worry fester in your mind, try trading it for 3 precise questions. Ask yourself, what exactly is the problem? What specific information do I need? Who specifically can help me find the answer? See who picks up the other end of the conversation, and how much clearer your path forward becomes. The hottest, most powerful symbiosis on Earth right now isn't some new tech gadget. It's human plus machine. AI isn't here to replace us. It's here to make us better, smarter, and more efficient. AlphaFold, for example, can predict the incredibly complex shapes of proteins. with astonishing accuracy. But scientists are still the ones designing the experiments, interpreting the results, and pushing the boundaries of biological understanding. Midjourney can paint breathtaking concept art from a few text prompts, yet it's the human designers who add the story, the emotional resonance, and the overarching creative vision that truly brings it to life. I felt that synergy firsthand when I was writing my first novel. I had conducted 40 lengthy interviews, and the thought of manually transcribing all that audio was a monumental, soul-crushing task. It would have taken me months. Instead, I used an AI transcription service. The bot spit out text in minutes, handling the raw, laborious data entry. But that was just the starting point. My job, the human job, was to shape the cadence, catch the subtle jokes, spot the metaphors that only a human ear could truly appreciate, and weave those voices into a compelling narrative. The result? A finished book in 5 months instead of a year. And it was richer, deeper, and more authentic, because I could focus on the soul of the story, not just the mechanics of getting words on a page. Approach every tool, every piece of AI, with the same fundamental question: what part of this task is the raw labor I can wisely delegate? And where do I, as a human, add the irreplaceable soul, the intuition, the creativity, the empathy? AI can assist in brainstorming, writing, and design, but it always requires human judgment and creativity to produce the best, most meaningful results. Find that line, stay firmly on your side of it, and you'll never fear obsolescence. Instead, you'll feel empowered, knowing you're leveraging the best of both worlds. So, out of these 5 powerful lessons, which one lands hardest for you right now? Is it learning continuously like Netflix, budgeting smarter like Spotify, automating away the dinner dilemma, asking sharper questions to get better answers, or co-writing your next big thing with an AI partner? Drop your number below and tell me the very first experiment you're running this week. I genuinely do read every single reply. And if you're itching for more ways to steal superpowers from these silicon brains, then you absolutely need to hit subscribe and ring that notification bell. You won't want to miss the next episode, where I'll showing you more interesting facts about AI. Let us truly change how we communicate, grow, and elevate ourselves. AI isn't coming for your purpose. It's actually offering you a cheat sheet to enhance it. It's a masterclass in efficiency, insight, and continuous improvement. So learn continuously like the algorithm, interrogate your data like the recommender engine, delegate your boredom like the clever scheduler, refine your questions like the expert prompt engineer, and always keep your humanity firmly in the driver's seat. Run these 5 loops in your own life, and you won't just survive the AI age, you'll absolutely surf it, riding the wave of progress with confidence and skill. AI is sold as the ultimate shortcut, cheaper, faster, smarter. But let's be honest, every free prompt you type quietly hoovers cash from your bank account, drains lakes to cool distant server farms, and erodes the very values your company claims to hold dear. The real bill? It doesn't show up in your inbox. It lands squarely on your budget, your planet, and your culture. Stay with us, because once you see these hidden line items, you won't be able to unsee them. Welcome back to Mentor's Mindset. We've all felt that buzz, haven't we? That moment, a chatbot spits out a perfect press release in 10 seconds flat. The price tag says £0, but the actual price is buried deep in the small print no one reads. Ballooning cloud fees, carbon debts the size of countries, and ethical minefields disguised as progress. Today, we're auditing 4 hidden budgets behind the AI revolution: financial, environmental, organizational, and ethical. This will help you decide if the hype is still worth the bill. Let's kick things off with the ledger you actually care about. A modest customer service bot might look very affordable with a £199 a month SaaS license. What the sales pitch conveniently forgets to mention, however, is the data egress charge that can easily triple your cloud invoice when traffic spikes. And don't forget the retraining cycle. Every 6 to 9 months, that costs 5 to 10% of the original build. Multiply that across 3 years, and hey presto, you've paid for the product twice over without even noticing. But the costs start even earlier. Developing and implementing AI isn't cheap. We're talking anywhere from £10,000 for a small automation project to well over £10 million for enterprise-scale AI solutions. Think about it. You need to acquire data, build out infrastructure, cloud or on-premise, and crucially, hire top-tier AI specialists who command salaries from £100,000 to £300,000 annually. Then there's the model training itself, especially for deep learning, which can rack up millions of pounds in computational costs alone. And once it's built, you still have to integrate it with your existing systems and ensure compliance with a labyrinth of regulations. And it doesn't stop there. AI models, like everything else, degrade over time. They need regular fine-tuning or retraining, often 1 to 2 times a year, which adds another 5 to 10% of that initial development cost annually. As your user base grows, your infrastructure needs to scale, demanding more compute power, storage, and those expensive GPU resources, adding another 5 to 15% to your annual spend. Plus, you've got continuous monitoring, debugging, performance tracking, software updates, security patches, compliance audits, and user training, all eating away at your budget, adding another 3 to 5% annually. Ever heard of hidden cloud costs? Things like data egress fees, idle compute resources, and data gravity can inflate your expenses so much that some companies are actually going back to on-premise solutions. And if you're dabbling in generative AI, brace yourself. Computing costs are projected to jump by a staggering 89% between 2023 and 2025. It's no wonder so many organizations are putting the brakes on AI projects. Then there's the imposter software. Last year, security firm Checkpoint flagged over 1,200 fake AI trading advisors on Google Play. These scams promise a ridiculous 30% monthly return, charge a £49 algorithm access fee, and then vanish into thin air. Victims in California alone reported losses topping £2 million, and that was just for one flavor of this scam. And the new terrifying twist? Voice clones of your CEO asking finance to wire emergency AI license funds. One mid-sized manufacturer in Ohio lost £243,000 in just 38 minutes. This isn't just pocket money we're talking about. Even legitimate tools bleed you dry. A popular copywriting AI might lure users with a £0 intro tier, then quietly activate a £0.03 per word premium model once you hit a mere 2,000 characters. The average marketing team sails past that limit daily, racking up £100-200 a year per seat. Multiply that by 10 teammates and you've just bought a used Tesla in fees, all because nobody bothered to read the small print on the pricing. Here's a tip for your budget. Insist on hard caps, not pay as you go. If the vendor won't cap your spend, walk away. Your future self will thank you when that growth surge doesn't blow a hole in your quarterly forecast. Every time you pay for an AI query, you're also unknowingly billing the planet. A single ChatGPT prompt, for instance, emits about 4.3 grams of CO2. That sounds tiny, doesn't it? Until you scale it up. OpenAI fields roughly 100 million queries daily. That's 430 metric tons of CO2 by lunchtime, equivalent to 1,000 cars idling in a car park all day. The data centers that make all this possible are power-hungry beasts. Their electricity consumption jumped a massive 72% between 2019 and 2023. If the cloud were a country, it would rank 11th for electricity use, just ahead of South Korea. Training one large language model can consume as much energy as 130 New York to London flights. It's not just the operational emissions from running these models. We're also talking about the embodied emissions from manufacturing the hardware and constructing those massive data centers. Estimates suggest AI contributes between 2.1% and 3.9% of global greenhouse gas emissions. While that might seem modest compared to giants like transport or manufacturing, it's still a significant slice of a pie we desperately need to shrink. But wait, there's a sneakier cost: water. A typical US data center guzzles about 7,100 liters per megawatt hour for cooling. In drought-prone Arizona, that footprint translates to 1.1 million gallons evaporated daily per campus, which is enough drinking water for 40,000 households. And we haven't even touched the hardware. Every GPU rack needs cobalt, and a staggering 70% of it is mined in the Democratic Republic of Congo under notoriously loose oversight. Investigators have found kids as young as 7 hauling rocks for £2 a day. So, your automation miracle often starts with manual labor most boards never discuss. The production and disposal of AI hardware also lead to significant e-waste issues, contributing to soil erosion, pollution, and the contamination of vital water sources. So, what's the solution? Green AI is finally sprouting. Companies like Google are using their TPUs to cut training energy by 30%. Microsoft struck a 24/7 renewable matching deal in Virginia. And OpenAI is adopting renewable energy sources and aiming for carbon-neutral operations. Strategies also include optimizing model efficiency through techniques like transfer learning, pruning, and quantization. Until these practices become standard, though, treat every model like a gas guzzler. Combine tasks, prune parameters, and only train when absolutely necessary. Beyond the tangible financial and environmental impacts, AI brings a host of organizational challenges that can subtly erode your company's resilience. Large organizations, in particular, often struggle to integrate AI effectively. Why? Because they're battling legacy systems, siloed departments, and cultures that are inherently risk-averse. The old top-down management style often clashes with the teamwork that AI projects desperately need to succeed. Without clear AI governance frameworks, you end up with inconsistent implementation and isolated efforts that never quite connect. Then there's the whole change management nightmare and the impact on your workforce. Adopting AI isn't just about plugging in new software. It demands a complete overhaul of your workflows and a shift in who's accountable, which many companies find incredibly difficult. And let's be honest, employees often fear job displacement, leading to resistance and reduced cooperation. Successful AI integration isn't just about the technology. It demands a big investment in training, transforming the company culture, and creating a sense of psychological safety so your teams can build trust and work together with AI. If your staff aren't on board, your AI project is dead in the water. And what about financial planning? AI projects demand substantial upfront investment, but the returns can be incredibly uncertain, making traditional financial planning a headache. Many organizations struggle to accurately estimate the total cost of ownership, which inevitably leads to budget overruns and frustrating project delays. The experimental nature of AI means the usual return on investment metrics often fall short, requiring completely new ways to measure success. It's a leap of faith, but one that needs a solid parachute of planning. Money and megawatts are easy math compared with the cultural corrosion no spreadsheet can truly capture. Let's start with bias. Remember when Amazon scrapped its AI CV screener? They realized it automatically downgraded any application containing the word women's, effectively rejecting candidates from all female colleges. The model simply mirrored historical hiring data, creating an echo of past discrimination that was amplified at scale. It wasn't malicious, just flawed, and the consequences were severe. Then there's the black box problem. A European bank deployed an algorithm that cut mortgage approval times from weeks to minutes. Sounds great, right? But regulators later discovered it was charging immigrant borrowers 0.4% higher APR on average. Executives couldn't explain why. The neural net had no audit trail. The resulting class action settlement wiped out 6 months of profit. That's the cost of opacity. The whiplash for your workforce is very real too. When telecom giant AT&T rolled out AI scheduling, technicians watched algorithms assign overtime to the lowest cost regions, slashing local hours by 18%. Morale nosedived, trade union grievances tripled. Productivity actually fell 6% because experienced techs quit rather than train their digital replacements. Employee fears about job displacement aren't just abstract concerns. They're real, and they raise profound ethical questions about workforce transitions. And let's not forget the privacy and security risks. Compliance with data protection laws like GDPR isn't just a regulatory burden. It's a costly but essential shield against data breaches and misuse. A single breach can devastate a company's reputation and bottom line. Ethical governance isn't some hoodie-clad philosopher's hobby. It's vital insurance. Build explainability requirements directly into your procurement specs. Publish bias audit results quarterly. And critically, give staff veto power over machine decisions that affect livelihoods. A human override isn't nostalgia. It's sound risk management and a commitment to your company's soul. Have you ever been stung by a surprise AI bill or watched your team's culture erode overnight because of a poorly implemented system? Share your story in the comments. Our collective experiences can pressure vendors to clean up their act. Now, before you unplug every server and chuck your laptop out the window, let's remember something crucial. The same technology burning cash and carbon can also detect cancer cells earlier, design batteries that need 40% less lithium, and translate disaster alerts into 200 languages within seconds. The trick, as always, is to be mindful in how we adopt it. Some banks now run green inference schedules, queuing low-priority tasks until local solar output peaks. Shopify insists vendors publish life cycle carbon data before procurement teams even bother to demo products. And Adobe's Firefly models train only on licensed images, neatly avoiding the copyright minefield that rivals are still wading through. Responsible AI isn't just a dream, it's possible. It just takes the will to ask the tough questions before clicking I agree. So, here's the stark bill. Financially, AI can be a subscription trap, eating away at 5 to 15% of your budget every year you scale. Environmentally, it's a silent emitter rivaling airlines. Organizationally, it can create significant friction through cultural resistance and workflow disruption. And ethically, it can hollow out your culture faster than any competitor. But you're not powerless. Here are 4 essential rules to navigate this landscape. 1. Financial fortitude. Cap your cloud spend with hard budget alerts, not gentle nudges. Demand transparency on all potential ongoing costs before you sign on the dotted line. 2. Environmental accountability. Demand energy and water usage disclosures from any AI vendor. If they can't provide them, assume the worst and push for answers. 3. Organizational harmony. Invest heavily in change management, employee training, and clear governance frameworks. Prioritize psychological safety to ensure your workforce embraces, rather than resists, AI integration. 4. Ethical oversight. Install a human-in-the-loop policy for any decision affecting money, health, or careers. Audit outcomes quarterly for bias, error rates, and employee trust. Publish those numbers internally. Sunlight is still the best disinfectant. If this opened your eyes, hit share and send it to that one colleague who keeps saying AI is basically free. Let's keep each other honest and in business. And if you want more deep dives that crunch the numbers, the sales deck skip, subscribe. The algorithms won't warn you, but we will. Ever scrolled through your feed, marveling at an AI-generated image or a perfectly crafted poem? It's pretty mind-blowing, right? But while we're all busy celebrating these digital party tricks, there's a much bigger, far more unsettling story unfolding. We're so captivated by the magic show, we're completely missing the ticking time bomb under millions of creative careers and, frankly, the soul of our culture. This isn't just about a shift anymore. The experts, they're sounding the alarm about a full-blown cliff edge. Welcome back to Mentor's Mindset. Let's get real about the job market. Just last year, thousands of bright-eyed graphic design graduates in the US stepped out into a world where something like Midjourney can whip up a slick logo for $5. Think about that. These talented folks aren't losing out to a more experienced human designer. They're losing to a server farm, a cold, calculating algorithm. And sure, the World Economic Forum keeps telling us we'll see a net gain of 12 million jobs by 2025. Sounds great, right? But dig into the fine print and it's a brutal reality check. Almost all these new roles demand advanced degrees, master's level coding, or serious data science chops. This creates a massive skills gap, leaving entire cohorts of creative professionals wondering where they fit in. The jobs getting vaporized first. They're the entry-level creative gigs, the apprentice copywriter, the junior storyboard artist, the budding illustrator. When that bottom rung of the ladder just disappears, how exactly are you supposed to climb? For decades, we've been told robots would dig ditches, not write symphonies. We figured true creativity was our impenetrable fortress. Yet here we are. AI now scores advertisements that move products, drafts entire novels, and even wins prestigious art contests. The reason it can do all this is deceptively simple. To us, creativity feels like magic, a spark of divine inspiration. But to a powerful AI model, it's just incredibly sophisticated pattern matching at an unimaginable scale. Every chord progression, every vibrant color palette, every compelling plot, twist humanity has ever conceived and uploaded, that all became training fuel. The machine doesn't innovate in the human sense. It remixes humanity's collective output faster than we can even blink. And because it never needs sleep, never takes a coffee break, it can fundamentally underbid any living, breathing creator by a staggering 99%. That's a price point no human can compete with. We're all quick to jump on tools that promise to save us time. Relying on autocomplete for sentences or letting AI generate images for us might feel efficient, but it's actually trading away vital neural reps. A 5-year study across a dozen universities, for instance, found that students' divergent thinking scores, that's our ability to generate multiple creative solutions, plunged by a shocking 42% once AI writing aids became standard. Think of creativity like a muscle. If the machine does all the push-ups, your own muscle will absolutely atrophy. We're essentially outsourcing the very mental friction, the complex problem solving, and the deep thinking that actually produces original thought. The real danger isn't just that AI gets smarter and smarter, it's that we, as humans, risk getting duller. What happens when one algorithm starts producing, say, 90% of Spotify's ambient playlists? We don't discover quirky fringe artists anymore. Instead, we end up marinating in a feedback loop, a bland echo chamber of what's already popular. Here's the kicker. Each new generation of AI is trained on the previous generation's output. This means our cultural gene pool, the very source of new ideas and diverse expressions, is shrinking at an alarming rate. The result? Sonic, visual, and textual beige. It's perfectly palatable, sure, but also perfectly forgettable. This homogenized culture isn't some harmless side effect. It actively erodes the local accents, the unique mythologies, and the beautiful weirdness that makes societies resilient and vibrant. We lose the unexpected, the truly new, and settle for the comfortably familiar. The legal landscape around AI is a minefield just waiting to explode. Thousands of authors, artists, and musicians have already filed lawsuits claiming their copyrighted work was used as unlicensed training data to build these billion-dollar models. Courts are still wrestling with whether transformative use, a legal concept meant to protect new original creation, actually covers AI systems that ingest and remix vast swaths of existing content. If the plaintiffs win these cases, the financial implications could be staggering. Firms could face retroactive damages that make even the notorious tobacco settlements look like pocket change. That kind of uncertainty hangs over every startup pitch deck like a guillotine. When that blade eventually falls, investment will dry up overnight, freezing the very sector that politicians are currently touting as the next big gold rush. The economic and moral rights of creators are very much at stake here, and the outcome will define the future of digital ownership. AI, for all its sophistication, can imitate style, but it can't taste risk. It doesn't know embarrassment or feel that burning itch to rebel against the status quo. A teenage guitarist still smashes an amp, not because it's efficient, but because it feels like the only honest reply to the world, a raw act of defiance. That isn't about productivity. It's about identity formation, about finding your voice. No prompt, no matter how clever, can reproduce the cultural tremor of a new subgenre born in a sweaty garage, fueled by passion and cheap beer. Our true superpower isn't just producing endless content. It's deciding which content is so vital, so meaningful, that it's worth dying on a hill for. That's the human edge. The pattern is depressingly clear. If your craft can be scraped and resold as a data set, your income will asymptotically approach zero. Take voice acting, for instance. The median human voice actor earns around $47 an hour for their nuanced performances. AI clones, on the other hand, can offer the same line read, often indistinguishable, for 99 cents. Translation, captioning, and dubbing. These were once vital gateways for bilingual workers, offering flexible and often well-paying opportunities. Now they're rapidly vanishing. Entire regions that built their economies on outsourced creative labor are watching contracts evaporate faster than coal towns lost mining leases. It's a stark reminder that the digital revolution isn't always fair, and those at the bottom of the creative food chain are often the first to feel the squeeze. Politicians, bless their hearts, just love the word reskill. It sounds proactive, doesn't it? The uncomfortable truth, though, is that a 45-year-old storyboard artist with 2 kids and a mortgage cannot realistically pivot to machine learning engineering in 18 months. Even if tuition were magically free, the cognitive switching cost, the sheer mental effort and time required, is brutal. It's a fantasy for most. Meanwhile, the very firms laying off these creatives are posting AI-tuned job ads that demand 5 years of prompt engineering experience, a role that literally did not exist 5 years ago. It's a cruel irony, creating an impossible bar for those desperately trying to adapt. Yes, an AI can brainstorm faster than a room full of hungover copywriters. Absolutely, but every hour you spend meticulously polishing prompts, trying to coax the machine to get it just right, is an hour you're not spending people watching in a subway car, soaking up life, or having a truly unexpected conversation. And those, my friends, are the raw materials of real original ideas. The danger here isn't just about efficiency. It's about mistaking acceleration for genuine augmentation. If the tool becomes the first author, if it sets the initial direction, humans inevitably slide into the role of mechanical Turks, tidying up machine-generated prose for minimum wage. We become the editors of an AI's first draft rather than the visionary creators. The global response to AI is, to put it mildly, a mess. The EU is pushing for stringent transparency clauses and ethical guidelines. The US, meanwhile, still largely treats the digital realm like the Wild West, a free-for-all. And then you have China, mandating that AI models reflect core socialist values. No one, absolutely no one, agrees on who truly owns style, voice, or even a person's digital likeness. Until international standards finally emerge, the default winner will always be whoever has the biggest server cluster and the thickest legal department. History has shown us time and again that regulatory silence invariably favors the brute force player, the one with the most capital and the fewest scruples. Ask any illustrator who spent a decade refining a unique style, pouring their soul into it, only to see it cloned overnight by a machine. The feeling isn't just competition, it's profound grief. Therapists are reporting rising cases of what they're calling generative despair, a deeply unsettling mix of identity theft and career vertigo. When your life's work, your very portfolio becomes uncredited training data, the violation is deeply personal in a way that cold unemployment statistics can never truly capture. Society has barely begun to process the immense psychological toll this is taking on creative individuals worldwide. It's not all doom and gloom, though. There's a glimmer of hope, a potential path forward. Some bands now proudly tour on the promise of 100% human-made music. Physical books explicitly labeled "No AI Assistance" are starting to command premium prices. Audiences, it turns out, will pay for authenticity, but only if creators can clearly articulate why it matters. The business model of the future might just be smaller, weirder, and defiantly inefficient. Think more craft brewery than unicorn startup. Paradoxically, the more ubiquitous synthetic media becomes, the higher the market value of verifiably real human labor. It's about valuing the unique, the handcrafted, the genuinely personal connection. If you still earn a living from your imagination, listen up. Start documenting your process on video today. Timestamps, layered PSD files, handwritten notes, even messy sketches, anything that provides irrefutable proof of the human hand behind your work. That proof will be your passport, your essential credential, when clients inevitably begin demanding audits of authenticity. Get ahead of the curve. Walk into almost any modern workplace and you'll see it playing out in real time. Gen Z interns cheerfully hand their homework over to ChatGPT, barely batting an eye. Their millennial managers, meanwhile, are quietly panicking about competence erosion and a looming skills crisis. And then there are the boomers, many of whom never even uploaded a single photo online, now finding their lifelong journals and personal histories scanned into AI training sets without any consent whatsoever. You have three distinct age groups, three completely incompatible assumptions about ownership, privacy, and what constitutes genuine skill. The workplace is rapidly becoming a generational poker table where nobody agrees on the rules, but the stakes, they're everyone's livelihood. Here's a critical ethical question we need to confront. If we allow AI to be trained on orphaned works, content with unclear ownership or from forgotten artists, but strictly forbid it from touching Disney's vast catalog, what are we effectively doing? We're privatizing culture. We're saying it's free to mine the commons, but paywalled for the powerful corporations. Fair use was originally meant to protect the transformer, the independent creator building something new, not the trillion-dollar conglomerate. If that delicate balance isn't restored, if we don't draw a clear ethical line, the next Shakespeare will never emerge because the raw clay of language, the very building blocks of creativity, will be trademarked, copyrighted, and locked away. Don't just sit there. First, lobby your professional association to add AI consent clauses to all standard contracts. This is crucial. Second, support the class action suits against AI companies. Even a $5 donation signals to judges and policymakers that voters actually care about these issues. Third, experiment with AI in private. Understand its capabilities, but crucially, keep a parallel offline sketchbook or creative practice to retain your muscle memory and independent thought. Most importantly, talk to non-creatives. Explain to your friends, family, and neighbors why a cheaper song or a faster image isn't a fair trade for a silenced human voice, for the very soul of our creative future. If you want to keep seeing stories about how tech truly affects paychecks, not just stock prices, then smash that subscribe button and drop a comment below. Which creative skill are you refusing to automate and why? Let's hear it. The robots aren't coming for your job, they are already here and they're billing by the hour. The fundamental question before us is whether we accept a world where creativity is reduced to a disposable commodity, or if we choose to fight for the messy, wasteful, glorious thing that makes us uniquely human. If we do nothing, if we simply stand by, the price of art will keep falling and falling until the only thing left unpaid and utterly devalued is the artists themselves. What you just saw wasn't real. Not a single pixel of it. It was created by an AI from nothing more than a sentence. And it might just be the moment we can no longer believe our own eyes. On September 30th, 2025, OpenAI announced Sora 2, a video generation model so powerful it doesn't just make clips, it simulates entire worlds. And this time, it comes with sound. Public access began rolling out on October 1st. This isn't just another tech upgrade, it's a fundamental shift in our relationship with reality. So how does this change everything you think you know about media, society, and truth itself? This is the story of Sora 2 and the end of reality. Welcome back to Mentor's Mindset. To understand the earthquake, you have to look at the tremor that caused it. So what exactly is Sora 2? At its core, it's a text-to-video AI. You give it a text prompt, like a golden retriever puppy playing in a field of flowers or a grainy black and white shot of a 1920s street corner, and it generates a video. But calling it a clip generator is a massive understatement. The first version of Sora, which we got a peek at in early 2024, showed us silent, often glitchy glimpses of this power. It was impressive, but you could tell something was off. Sora 2 is a different beast entirely. The biggest leap is its grasp on physics, or what OpenAI calls world simulation. The AI isn't just painting pixels to look like a video, it's trying to understand and copy the laws of the physical world. When a ball hits a hoop in a Sora 2 video, it bounces how you'd expect. When someone walks in the snow, they leave footprints. That physical consistency, plus the groundbreaking addition of synchronized audio like dialogue, sound effects, and music, all generated in sync with the video, is what makes it so revolutionary. Access is rolling out via an invite-only app in the US and Canada. Early user reports and recent updates from October 16, 2025, suggest that standard users can now generate videos up to 15 seconds long, while pro subscribers get up to 25 seconds of high-resolution video. It might not sound like much, but in the world of social media, 25 seconds is long enough to tell a lie that can circle the globe before the truth even gets its boots on. The real power of Sora 2 isn't just its realism, but its incredible creative range. The model was trained on a colossal amount of data, which lets it generate content in a breathtaking number of styles. Let's say you want to create a commercial. You could prompt a cinematic slow-motion shot of a new sports car on a winding coastal road at sunset with epic orchestral music. In minutes, you have a clip that once would have cost tens of thousands of dollars and a full day of shooting. Or think about documentary filmmaking. A historian could prompt archival-style grainy footage of a bustling 1920s New York City street with sounds of old cars and crowds. The AI can create a historically plausible world, almost impossible to tell apart from long-lost footage. The power to create the past, not just show it, is a dizzying thought. The model also shines when it comes to the fantastical. Prompts like an anime-style battle between a glowing knight and a shadowy monster in neon-drenched Tokyo, or A photorealistic video of a woolly mammoth walking through a snowy landscape create results that blur the line between animation and reality. It can mix and match styles to create things we've never even imagined. But maybe the most talked about feature is called cameos. This is an opt-in tool where you can upload a short video of yourself to create a digital likeness, which can then be dropped into any generated scene. With your explicit consent, you can star in your own AI movie. Or, with their permission, you could co-star with a friend in a fantasy world. OpenAI has built-in strict consent controls, and you can revoke access to your likeness at any time. But the fact that this feature even exists opens a Pandora's box of questions about who we are online. We're seeing everything from hyper-realistic product shots to impossible fantasy worlds created with just a few words. What's the most amazing, or maybe the most worrying use of this tech you can think of? Let me know in the comments. I read every single one, and I'm genuinely curious to hear your thoughts. With every great leap in technology comes a shadow, and the shadow Sora 2 casts is long and dark, falling right over the idea of truth itself. The main theme here is the death of real. For generations, seeing was believing. Video was the gold standard of proof. That standard is now officially broken. The most immediate danger is weaponized misinformation. The ability to create a convincing fake video of a politician saying something they never said, or to fake evidence of a crime that never happened, is an existential threat to democracy. OpenAI has put in safety measures like a visible watermark on AI content and C2PA metadata. But within a week of Sora 2's launch, reports confirmed that multiple third-party tools that could successfully remove the watermark were already prevalent. The arms race between generation and detection is on, and the bad guys just got a major upgrade. This erosion of trust has a corrosive effect on everyone. When any video be fake, we might start to doubt all videos. Real footage of atrocities or injustices could be dismissed as just an AI generation. This phenomenon is known as the liar's dividend. Once trust is shattered, it's incredibly hard to get back. We're walking into an age of intense skepticism, where the burden of proof is no longer on the creator of a fake, but on the person trying to prove something is real. Ethical landmines have also exploded around copyright and likeness. The model's release immediately sparked controversy over its ability to generate content featuring copyrighted characters or in the style of living artists. More troubling, deepfakes of deceased public figures have emerged, raising moral questions about legacy and digital desecration. Can an AI be used to make a beloved dead actor star in a new commercial? Who gets to decide? These aren't hypotheticals anymore. They are urgent legal and ethical fights happening right now. The shockwaves from Sora 2 are already hitting entire industries, especially creative ones. For many, this technology is a double-edged sword, a game-changing tool for some and a potential replacement for others. In Hollywood and advertising, the tool versus replacement debate is raging. Supporters argue Sora 2 could revolutionize pre-production, letting directors create detailed animated storyboards in hours, not weeks. It could democratize filmmaking, allowing indie creators on a tiny budget to produce visually stunning work. Imagine a young filmmaker in their bedroom generating a pickup shot of a dragon flying over a castle, a shot that would have once cost a fortune. But the threat of job displacement is real and deeply felt. VFX artists, animators, and location scouts are looking at this technology with serious worry. Even before Sora 2's release, a 2024 study commissioned by the Animation Guild and other groups estimated that generative AI could disrupt roughly 200,000 entertainment jobs across the United States. While some argue AI will just automate boring tasks and free up humans for more creative work, others fear a hollowing out of the industry where entry-level jobs vanish and the craft itself is devalued. Why hire a crew for a 3-day shoot for a 15-second ad when a marketing manager can generate 20 versions before lunch. The economic pressure is powerful and will inevitably drive adoption for better or worse. So, can this be controlled? OpenAI seems to know the massive responsibility it holds. The company has publicly stated its commitment to safety and has built in several guardrails. Features like the Cameo consent system are designed to give people control over their digital likeness. The company uses a mix of automatic classifiers and human review to block harmful content, like graphic violence or hateful imagery. They'll also stress their slow rollout strategy, which allows them to study the impact and make adjustments. In one notable statement, OpenAI even said it would consider discontinuing the service if it proves to be a net negative. But can a single company, even with good intentions, truly contain something this powerful? The debate over regulation is heating up. Lawmakers and watchdog groups are calling for clear rules around AI-generated content, especially for political ads and deepfakes. Copyright battles are being fought in court, and the legal system is struggling to keep up. Ultimately, control might come down to three things: responsible development from creators like OpenAI, smart regulation from governments, and most importantly, a massive upgrade in media literacy for all of us. We're all going to have to learn how to live in a world where our senses can be easily fooled. We'll need to be more critical consumers of information, to question what we see, and to seek out trusted sources for verification. The era of just passively watching is over. This technology is evolving at an unbelievable speed. The features and fallout we're talking about today will be different a month from now. If you want to stay on top of the fast-moving world of AI and what it means for our reality, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. We started with a single fake leaf, but that leaf represents a world of change. Sora 2 isn't just a fun new app. It's a mirror reflecting our greatest creative dreams and our deepest anxieties. It offers the power to build worlds, to tell stories we could only imagine, and to unlock a new era of human creativity. At the same time, it threatens the very foundation of a shared reality that holds society together. It pours fuel on the fire of misinformation, challenges our idea of identity, and disrupts the livelihoods of countless artists. The death of real isn't one single event. It's a process, and it has already started. We are the first generation in history that cannot automatically trust video and audio as a record of the truth. The question we're left with isn't how to stop this technology. That genie is out of the bottle. The question is, how do we live with it? Moving forward into this new synthetic reality, what will we choose to believe and who will we choose to trust?